Hey, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to yet another episode of the Double Panic Cast. I'm excited because we're back after over a month. Hopefully, we can get back into the swing of things. But as always, I'm here joined today with my good pals, other fellow members of Double Panic, Danny and Jake.
Hello, I'm Jake.
What up? I'm the other one.
Yes, he is the other one. He is not Jake. He is Jappus, aka Danny, aka Freaky Fish Guy.
Freaky Fish Guy. I don't know
God,
why we call him that. Yeah.
Cause my logo.
Your logo. That's true.
God forbid I like
I just did
Dora.
a filter. I did a filter and made my face a little less fat, put a big beard in front of it, and just like, and then glasses. I was like, haha. It was fun though.
It's as you can tell, it's been a while because I don't even know what the fuck to say. We have a lot in store for you. In store for today. Twitch and YouTube are apparently racist. We want to talk about that. We're going to talk about Dragon Ball because people love anime.
Show cancellations.
We're also going to be talking about that. Show cancellations. We're going to talk about She-Hulk and the neckbeards that hate She-Hulk apparently. We're also going to be talking about the main topic today, which is Metal Gear Solid. So nice. Hopefully you guys are going to enjoy that. But before we get into all that, if you guys could, if you're listening to this either on YouTube, Spotify, where the fuck you're listening to this, be sure to go ahead and leave a like if you're watching this on YouTube, and be sure to rate this 5 stars if you're listening to this on your preferred podcast platform. Leave a review, and we will read it out loud live on the podcast. Hopefully you guys go ahead and do that. Not trying to shame you guys or anything, but like, you want to help out small content. You want to help out black content creator.
Yes, me. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Jake. For those of you guys that don't know, Jake is a white passing black person apparently.
That's right.
What does that even mean?
I was gonna say the joke, but I was like, no, I'll get banned. This whole channel will get banned if I say it, but I'm not gonna do it.
You know, someone like Logic, you know, just they look white, but they're actually like half black or something. That's what white passing means. It means like they have black in them, but they look like a white person. Anyway, speaking of race, but before we get into that, we're not going to just jump right into it. How was everybody's weeks? What have y'all been up to? Anything new or interesting?
Vape Wizard, Danny, you start.
Vape Wizard. Another one of my alibis.
Alibis,
I got to work.
You mean aliases?
No, alibis.
All right, fair enough.
The Vape Wizard does some stuff that I wanted.
All right, continue.
Let's see. So I started working in construction recently. Decided to start that, in the midst of the summer, 90-degree weather, as a perfectly sane person would do. And this week I got to work in an attic for a while.
Nice.
Holy shit! I finally think I found out UFC fighters' secrets to losing weight real fast, man.
Yeah,
they just go sit in the attic.
Yeah.
No, they just sit in the attic, dude. It's like immediately 20 degrees hotter in there.
Yep, heat rises.
Oh yeah.
Yep, that's why they do mountain training, and they do like they train up on elevated platforms and shit.
Mountains aren't hot.
Yeah, they are. Heat rises, my guy.
No, mountain tops are cold, my dude.
No, desert, like the hills. Sorry, hills. That big molten whatever.
That's a volcano. They don't go training in a volcano.
Well, they should. I would pay money to see Chocolate L fucking throw tires in a volcano.
Yeah, they do like anime training if they're training in a volcano. Like, what the fuck? Like,
they fight in wastelands. They go out there and they go, "This place is unpopulated. Let's go shoot laser beams at each other out there."
Oh my god.
That's exactly what UFC fighters do.
That's what they should do. They get way more money.
I mean, if the World Martial Arts Tournament was real, like that would be. I wouldn't go because like there's a lot of collateral damage during those tournaments.
Bro, I'd like you sit in like the front seat and then all of a sudden this dude fires and you're like, shit, you gotta like duck. And it's like, if you're taking someone you don't love with you, you just kind of like, no, you stay up. It's just fireworks. Don't worry. And you just duck.
I can see that.
Yo, life insurance would be fucking like crazy. Come on, Grandpa. We're going to go to the World Martial Arts Tournament. What are the box seats that I always get torched? These ones, cool, perfect. We're gonna buy those.
Yeah.
just
I can see it now. Anderson Sylvia coming out of retirement in the future, and then going against the first like robot with laser beams. He's got to kick the laser beams back at him.
I'm
It's
telling you,
Randy.
that's like the
Spoiler,
natural
it's
progression.
Randy
Like,
Couture.
I want to see these fighters fighting robots. Like,
Yeah,
come on now.
like Megalobox.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna turn into Megalobox for
Give
sure.
them
Yeah,
That was such a
cybertronic
good anime.
enhancements.
Oh fuck! And then they're gonna have this guy called Gearless Joe that's gonna come out and just wipe the floor with all of them. Beautiful,
my
love
God.
it. What a fucking good show.
It was.
But, Jake, what's been going on with you?
I got fired.
Oh wow.
That's fine. It was a while
Nice.
ago, a couple weeks. So I've been just being a house guy at home for my wife, Puddsy, and cleaning and doing all that stuff. But it's been good. It's been lots of fun.
Yeah, your
I
sugar mama,
released-
as you clearly
Sorry.
see by the PlayStation 5 in the background, Jake.
Don't look at it. She did buy that for me, and it's beautiful, and I do all the chores. This is back that she bought that back when I had a paycheck, and I paid it off immediately. But I got a green screen up now, as you can see. I live in Japan, apparently. Look at my beautiful feudal castle that's covered by the PlayStation.
Yeah.
What else? We had I released a couple of long form videos that are doing kind of well on my channel. I released one about Resident Evil, and I'm at currently 120 subscribers as of making this podcast.
Hey,
So, yeah.
can we get
Nice.
a golf chat, a golf clap? I said a golf chat. I meant to
We
say
can
a
do
golf
golf
clap.
chat.
Yeah,
What are-
golf
what are
chat.
here, let me get some emotes really quick. Golf chat. What's the closest one?
Here we go. I got
Just
the
the
golf
food.
chat. You just whisper real quietly to the next one. Oh, that's really good for him. Yeah. I
I'm
hope he
sharing it.
succeeds.
That's what I got. I got the Yanni Y. That's what I wanted. That's my golf chat.
I earned that.
Nice.
You earned that fair and square. But yeah, I've been just like vibing. I've started a new channel. That is mainly focused on anime games and stuff like that. Trying to niche down a bit.
It's the Danganronpa one, right? Those videos that came out.
Yeah. Basically, just like more commentary related videos revolving around anime, you know. And honestly, low key, we're going to get into this when we talk about Twitch in a little bit. I am probably going to start streaming less, just due to the fact of the nature that like Twitch is Twitch. I feel like is a waste of time to me.
A little bit, yeah.
Because I think like the main aspect of Twitch is like they really, in order to thrive on Twitch as a content creator, you're going to need to like have a big audience somewhere else and bring them over to Twitch.
No. What you need to do is you need to have sex and have it reflect in the window. And then you get banned for 7 days. And then a black creator who got banned for saying L+ ratio over and over to Pokimane gets a permaban instead. So if you fuck and you show it in a window, you're good. You'll have a nice little paid vacation.
Ooh, okay. Well, okay. To be fair,
If you're a
that content
partner.
creator who did that wasn't big either. But at
No.
the same time, yeah, you shouldn't be fucking. You shouldn't be. Watch your webcams, you guys. Make sure you cover that shit. Turn it off. Whenever you about to do something.
Right.
Hell, put a fucking piece of tape over it. God damn it.
This is the easiest way. Check this out. Look, disappeared.
Oh shit.
Back. It's easy. It's super easy. It's like peekaboo, but digitally safe.
It's almost like it's almost as if he thought about it and then he did it and then he protected himself. See, in that quick second,
Right.
Jake was beating his meat, but you didn't.
I
see
was
it.
doing it, and I put on blackface. It was horrible.
Yeah, he did literally all the the things that you aren't supposed to do on stream, but
That's right.
because the lid was closed, didn't happen.
Couldn't see it. Couldn't get me. Uncancelable.
But yeah, we might
Get
as
him
well
next time,
talk.
chat.
We might as well talk about that because there's two topics about Twitch that,
There
which
are.
is also going to
And
transition to YouTube.
Yeah.
So for starters, with Twitch, Gideon, not famous. I don't want to use the word famous, but big YouTuber,
You could say renowned.
renowned YouTuber, known
Yeah.
for doing like prank content, troll content, and shit. He a while back, I want to say about a year ago, he was on. He started doing numbers on Twitch. He wanted to do Twitch, and there was an incident with Pokimane. You guys know what the fuck it is. He was like, he did L+ ratio,
Which is hate speech.
yeah, in a jokingly way. Like I saw the VOD and everything of that. It's like, sure, there was like there was sexist undertones I would say more sexist undertones when it came to the chat. I felt like the chat felt a certain way about Pokimane, whereas Gideon was just like, hey, this is funny, I want to do that, without thinking of the repercussions of like, hey, this is considered sexist. He did that. He suffered the consequences. First, he got like banned for a little bit, and then Twitch was like, oh, we're just going to double down, and we're going to like perma-ban your ass. We're going to get you off here.
You did that to a female creator? Permaband.
Yeah.
You know, that's
I don't
kinda what
really think
there.
it's like about necessarily a female content creator. I think it has to do with like there's a certain aspect of Twitch that they don't want to like promote positively, which is the black side of Twitch. Yeah. Which is a part of Twitch that I mainly frequent. There's a lot of like big black streamers that like I rarely see like as the face of Twitch or getting featured a lot on Twitch, but
and they're good.
Except for in February.
Except for in February.
And the thing is, in February, they put a whole bunch of black streamers that are Twitch ambassadors that like get like low numbers or whatever that nobody knows of, but because they're considered as safe, the good black ones, that they handpick the black ones that they want to use, not the big ones like Your Rage or Kaisenat. Or something like that. They want to fucking get the safe, good ones that they know, and put them out in front for Black History Month. And then like clearly there's like racial undertones when it comes to like how Twitch manages their things. Yeah. They're willing to go to bat for like white actually they want to go from like more safer streamers or whatever, because even Hassan, who is a white streamer, but since he's political and controversial, like even he has problems with getting banned here and there and stuff like that. It seems like Twitch is trying to like promote this family friendly.
He's Turkish, so they're like.
But he looks white and like he's white passing. He's a white guy, but still at the same time, because he does politics and like there's like a toxicity around that as well. Twitch kind of wants to like pretend like everything is okie dokie, so they want to like sort of like bury some of like the more problematic people that they think in their eyes, which Gideon, what he did was problematic. He was banned, rightfully so, for the appropriate amount of time at first, and then Twitch decided
he apologized.
The reason why I hated the permaban shit is because it felt petty at that point. It felt like they wanted to like send a message like, oh, you guys think you can do this shit, and by you guys you mean you colored folk think you can do this shit. Go ahead. We just clapped one right here and there.
Do they have like an old racist guy like at the very top of the Twitch thing? He's like the Monopoly man, twirling his mustache as he does it. He goes, ban them forever.
Ban bourbon by the fire pit.
He's got the bourbon and the fucking ice up there.
I smell Negro. Get him off my platform. No, but not that racist. But like,
and then he types check W in there.
Yeah,
that's a caricature, obviously. Like it's just like, you know, because it's one of those things where like whenever you say, hey, this seems racist, you know, like it's even like speaking up about it is tough, because they could easily go, well, fuck you, and then completely get rid of you and silence what you're saying. And it's like, well, there's some credence though to what's happening. Like when I watched that, and it's the same thing with YouTube with Corey, whatever.
Yeah,
what's
Corey
his
Kenshin.
Name? Yeah, Corey. And it's something where it's like Corey Kenshin, they just like, he's like, hey, so like, you know, I released the video, it's that morgue video game thing, and near the end of the game, there's like a thing that touches on depression, which on YouTube, there are a lot of sensitive subjects. When I was doing the Resident Evil one,
Mortuary's Assistant or something.
Yeah, that's the one. Mortuary's Assistant.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Horror game. Like when I was making my Resident Evil video, I had a couple of jokes near like about depression near the end for a couple of things, and like it got flagged, and YouTube's like, "Hey, this is against TOS." And I was like, "Oh," so I fixed it, got rid of it, and then re-uploaded it, and they're like, "Oh, okay." And then they did the thing where they're like, "This is copyright, and it's going to be blocked," and I'm like, I'm not making money though. I don't care if you claim it, just let me show it. And they were like, oh, okay, whoops, here you go. It's fine. Because I was like, I know I don't own the property. Can you just please show it? And then they did. And I'm like, great, thank you. And that was fine. You know, because like I know what I'm making. So he got, like him and Markiplier had the exact same ending, where it wasn't the exact same, but Markiplier showed the exact same thing Corey
He showed all the endings, yeah.
Exactly. And so because the first thing Corey did was like, well, I'm going to look this up to see if anyone else did it. And Markiplier did it. He goes, so Markiplier's not black. He can do it. I can't do it. And so then they go, okay, and then they remove the 18 plus whatever from Corey Kenshin's video. And then they add 18 plus on both Markiplier and Corey Kenshin's video. And it's like, wouldn't you just remove the 18 plus then? But now you're like, and this isn't Corey Kenshin trying to go after Markiplier. He's going, hey, there's clearly favoritism. Because what did he say in the beginning of the video? He's like, 1, YouTube is racist. 2, they have favorites. Or 3, it's both, you know? And it's just like, it's kind of sus. And it's like, YouTube guys, like, you kind of have to be more transparent. Like, you're slowly eroding the trust people want to do. I still want to create there, even in light of this, but it's like now I'm like, so I'm kind of looking into, okay, what other options can I upload my videos to? Where else can I go? Right? Because it's like, if YouTube's going to be like, no, fuck you. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm fairly safe as far as content creators go. I don't say swears too much. I talk about mature subject matter, but like, I'll kind of like write a comedy script on it. Like, you know, the Saints Row one that I'm working on, I specifically was like, this is a game that fetishizes gangs. Gangs are bad. No one should be in a gang. Because I had to make sure that like YouTube doesn't go, he likes gangs, get him. And I'm like, gangs are bad. You know, so
the only gang you should be part of is our
one
is our Double Panic gang, and you can do that by heading over down to Twitch and subscribing to the Twitch channel. But
that's right.
Yeah, it's like, it's clearly favoritism or whatever, because you can see like what was it, like 2-3 years back with Charlie and Markiplier had the same video or whatever.
Exact same thing, yeah.
Because Moist Critical is considered more like
edgy,
and then Markiplier is like
that's one word.
And Markiplier is like the he's fun for the family type thing, even though Markiplier does curse. And he does say some says some naughty words.
Yes,
and
he does.
Meanwhile, Corey is more advertiser friendly, because not only does he not swear himself, he also bleeps out the curse words in the video game as well.
That's right.
So
exactly.
It's weird that and of these past years, Corey has been known to be like the most family friendly YouTube channel over the years and stuff. So it comes out suspicious. Like, why would you, like, out of all people to like start backing, it would be Markiplier, or like favoriting Markiplier more than Corey. But at the same time, like, I don't want to 100% say race has something to do with this situation, because it
seems like it's more favoritism kind of with this one.
It's more like favoritism, but like when you don't specify like why this happened to certain people, or is this being manually reviewed by somebody, or is this just a robot doing that? If it's a robot doing that,
this is what I think. So there's an AI they have for sure for the algorithm. I think for a lot of the big YouTubers, they manually review everything. Anything they put out, it's manually reviewed. It has to be. Because then when something gets fucked up, they go, it was the robot. Like, you know, and they can easily just say it was the robot. And then they have to go on Twitter because of their huge following and go, hey, YouTube, what the heck? Like, can you fix this problem? A la the Actman situation with him and what's his face, the big head guy that talks about TVs or whatever. I'm not saying his name because if this goes on YouTube, he might go strike, like, you know, or claim. But it's
now
like, it's one of those things.
Who the fuck you talking about? The big head guy that talks
Quantum.
About... Oh,
Quantum
okay.
TV. That guy. Okay. We can bleep that, but that's okay. So, you know, you just put a picture, just big dill pickle on the screen, and then flash away. You'll know who we're talking about. So like Actman did a video, and then they're like, well, we're getting rid of everything. And he also did a stupid thing where he did satirical posts about doxing. Doxing is bad. I'm looking into the camera because it's serious. Never do doxing. Doxing bad. And he made a bunch of these tweets, and that was really stupid. And it's like, satirical or not, that was dumb. You shouldn't have tweeted that shit. You know what I mean? And then YouTube just shut all this shit down. It's back up. Like, he's making money again off of it. But it was one of those things where like, they at first said it was like, oh, it was the AI that did it. No, sir. This was the fucking manual reviewers going in.
You can like literally like look at shit. Like whenever like there's like a copyright strike or like a claim on your channel, you can look and see who did it. And like most of the time, YouTube, it's never YouTube. It's always like some random company or whatever, and that does that shit. So it's just like you're not slick. but yeah, I'm of the assumption, hear me out, theory, put my tinfoil hat on, racist AI.
Yeah, you're super right, because Google did make an AI a little while back, and then that AI got really racist, so maybe their algorithm is like, oh, this is positive work, N-words, and it just starts like fucking, like it does association.
Actually, the easiest way to do it would be by thumbnail and like facial recognition of like, oh, dark skin. And then all they would have to do is search like any like content ID breaching things, and then they'll go ahead and do that.
This
is just me tinfoil hat, but racist AI, they're here to take over because there was like another race. You guys haven't heard of this. You guys probably haven't heard of this shit, but there was apparently, you know how like you know Hatsune Miku, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You know, like a virtual AI singer type beat.
You talking about that stupid fucking whatever 5-minute crafts one?
I'm talking about FN Mecha. Not be confused with our friend Mecha Ninja, but there is a black AI robot. There's an AI robot that is that does raps.
What the fuck?
And let's say a few of those raps
about that,
are let's just say saying the N-word. And
quite a bit.
What the fuck is this, dude? It's like, oh shit! Like, hold on, I'm gonna get a picture and put it in the thing. Hold on. That's so funny.
And let's just say he also did a collaboration or a music or a song with it's
Danny,
weird because he did a song with a streamer named Clicks, as well as the now incarcerated rapper Gunna. It's called Florida Water, and that collaboration is not only confusing in and of itself, but virtual AI is now saying the N-word and now trying to be like a rapper now, and they're taking they got signed to Capitol Records. And then Capitol Records realized, like, oh, white people are behind this project where a virtual rapper is saying the N-word. And not only that, the voice behind the AI originally was a black rapper. But what happened is they cut him out the deal, and they started doing stuff behind his back to add insult to injury. So Capitol Records like, hey, yo, this shit's kind of sus, so we're just going to unsign you. Get rid of you because like you're mad problematic. You have like an AI robot rapping and saying the N-word, and like that's not cool, buddy.
This is because like I knew there was one where they did like what's with the green? It's always green hair because Hatsune Miku did it first. Where's that other one that's really shitty?
He looks like a fucking Fortnite character. Like he dead ass. He looks like they took a skin. He looks so lazy. That's the problem. Like, it just looks like, hey, I went into Blender and I just had like, I took a Fortnite skin model, put a little tattoos on his face, and now we have a new rapping sensation.
Literally. So there's another one that has the same thing again, green hair, because it's super funny. You guys know about Polar, right?
No, I don't.
Okay, Polar is literally Walmart's answer. It's great value Hatsune Miku. I just linked you guys in the chat there. But basically, meet Polar. She's the metaverse. Basically, made this from 5-second crafts.
Okay, let me see. This is like new stuff on the spot.
Literally, this is something
I know about her. She's like more like a pop diva sensation. She's like She's literally supposed to be like Hatsune Miku.
100%.
And
it's like Bratz doll aesthetic, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, she does look like a fucking Bratz doll. Those big ass eyes and the big ass head. I hate it.
And she wears a mask, so there's little waveforms talking for her instead of a mouth because they're like, we can't animate that. That's too much money.
I don't like the way she's like gyrating and shit. Like, I don't like how it's getting all sexual and shit. Hatsune Miku never got sexual.
She did not, no.
That's the one thing you can respect about Hatsune Miku is that she never got sexual. Even though some people never said she got sexual. Like even this fucking Like, look at this fucking music video. Is like so there's a real life guy that she's apparently haunting. She's following him wherever he goes.
Yep.
And she wants to be human, and she's gyrating and dancing. And I hate looking at this. This is like the animation looks terrible. Like,
it's very uncanny valley.
Yeah, it's just like why are we doing this?
It's like, I don't want to see that. That's weird. This is weird.
And they're using the 5-minute craft set as usual, you know?
They are using the 5-minute craft set. I love how, like, why is it like every bad boy guy has like leather jacket and they're like, let's look at James Dean aesthetic.
Yeah.
And it's just like, James Dean died in a car crash. If you want it to be real, put a tire.
Over 50 years ago. Like,
over 50 years ago.
Bad boys have never changed in the past 50 years. They always got their leather jacket. They got their change, their greaser hair, you know?
White t-shirt.
White t-shirt.
Yeah.
Purest of white t-shirts, you know? Like,
pure as the driven snow.
But yeah, the virtual scene is taking over. Virtual musicians are going to be taking all of our jobs, and I'm kind of here for it.
You know, see, what we need to do. This is the thing, though. This is what we do. We all spring to get Revan a Fox AI based VTuber rig, and then Revan becomes the most popular one of all of us, and that's it. Mm-hmm. Like, done.
We just all become VTubers at this point. We all become AI generated. Most of you guys didn't know this podcast is AI generated. I'm looking at a script right now written by an AI. We're all looking at it. Even the awkward transitions into the next topic, like
just like canceled shows.
Mine's just saying "let me out" over and over again. I think mine's broken.
Speaking of shows being canceled, it's Jake's favorite show. You want
Jake Break show?
Yeah,
yeah.
He just showed it Netflix a while back. You know, the first season was a hit, but they were like, you know what, we're not really feeling it, so we got to cancel it.
They're like, we got a perfect character actor for you of people that both like Butterbean and Matt Damon. Like, just fucking. I made that joke in my fucking review and it went over really well. That's my most watched fucking joke. Anyway, so Resident Evil, the series on Netflix, surprise, surprise, has been canceled and will not be renewed for a second season.
Oh no,
because
that's my favorite show though. I love Black Wesker. I love when he dressed like Blade.
Yeah, I thought it was just Blade. That was supposed to be Wesker.
It was Blade. Like, he comes down, I'm like, did they just copy paste Blade Trinity on his ass? Like, fucking. And then I'm like, wait a minute. Lance Reddick would be an awesome Blade. Like, if anything, this will open up Blade for him as a show. That'd be sick. I'd watch that. Like, fuck.
Yeah, that was his audition for a Blade.
Oh, jeez.
He was like,
and I'm sitting there. The show's terrible.
Is it?
That's not good at all. It's not good at all. Like, I tried to like some things about it, but the writing just fucks it up really badly.
Who knew a show that like literally had nothing to do with like actual Resident Evil? The foundation and building blocks are there, no matter what. Why is Resident Evil cursed to always be bad as like a TV show or movie? Like,
Sam Raimi hasn't directed it yet. Once he does, it'll be fine. But like, until then, fucking, we're gonna like. So Ella Balinska, like Jade, she needs to fire her fucking agent, or like, I don't know, maybe she's making money. But like, Forspoken, Charlie's Angels remake, this.
I need to see all of Forspoken in order before I have an opinion about that. Like,
I think originally the dialogue in the trailer was cringe. I'll probably still end up playing it at some point because it looks really fun. Like, the magic and whatever looks great in it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
But
did you see the show? Did you watch it?
No. Why would I watch a canceled show? Why would I like at least like you can tell me a bad show like Riverdale. At least I know Riverdale has like 6 seasons. But like if you tell me, oh, Resident Evil's a bad show, like, but it also got canceled. Like, why would I do? Like, it's just a waste of time at that point. There's no.
It's super. Danny, did you see it?
The show?
Yeah.
I watched like 2 episodes and then I wasn't.
You're like, I watched all of that shit.
My thing is, with Resident Evil, I think they're not gonna succeed unless they actually follow the video game, because the video games have incredible like storyline. People love those games. They play them time and time again.
Oh yeah.
And now with Ethan, is it Ethan?
It's
No.
Ethan Winters, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, Ethan Winters' character. It opens up a lot of doors, but the
It
thing
does.
is, I can already see it. Whoever they give creative rights to, they're gonna just be like, oh, and then ruin it.
The
course they
problem
will.
is like Resident Evil has such a fundamental story structure where it's just like even if you want to create your own story in Resident Evil, you can go ahead and do so. You just have to follow a simple structure of like just the background lore. There was an incident that happened in Raccoon City. It can be set up around like, hey, because like I even like back when I was like actively writing scripts and stuff, and because I was trying to pitch a whole bunch of scripts at the time, and this was like 7 years ago. I was writing a script for potential Resident Evil like short series where it's just like the small suburban outskirts of Raccoon City, and it's just weird phenomenons happening. It takes place like in the 90s, around the time when Resident Evil 1 was taking place, and it's taken in between the times of Resident Evil 1 and 2, where it's just like weird things are happening due to the due to the events that happen at the mansion. Weird things are happening, and it's set up as like some sort of like mystery, like ooh, what's going on? Strange things are happening, and like
That's
you
what
can
it needs to be, though.
like you can like there's so much like looseness in the Resident Evil story where it's just like if you want to create a story of your own, you can go ahead and do so, but be sure to like follow the guidelines of original like Resident Evil, and you should be good. Like the movies don't do that at all. Even the movies that are directly
Movies are better though, because at least they respect the original property. They're like, fuck it, Alice is its own protagonist. I'm like,
Jake,
alright,
we
that's fine.
watched 1 and 2. We watched
They're
1
horrible.
and 2 and they're terrible.
They're bad. They're really bad. But it's something where at least we got enjoyment from watching how bad it was. We could riff on it and have fun, right? You cannot riff on the Resident Evil show for Netflix. It's just bad. It's just mediocre. It's not good.
I think it all falls in the same category as bad. Like I
That's
don't know.
fine.
Like
it's ugh.
the movies are worse because it makes me sit through it longer, and there's like a lot of like the
8 hours.
worst part about it is like it has potential in there, and they have the nerve to show characters that we know and then just completely butcher them. Whereas this, at least they try to like make something new, and it's just like I can ignore that. But I am mad at like the other Resident Evil series for just completely just ruining what we already had.
Which is fine. And it's like, to me, I think at least their designs for what the characters were on point, and it's the kind of movie that I can rationalize going, this is very much non-canon. Like, they have characters in it, but they don't matter.
And also the reason why I hate the movies more is because there's people that actually like the movies and will defend them, and I'm just like, no.
Oh yeah, no, they're not good at all. The only defense I give to the movies is it's the middle of summer. You've ordered yourself like a cheap marinara pizza. You got some beer, and you're just let's go hang out in the garage or something. Yeah, okay, cool. That's more about the aesthetic of hanging out with friends.
In the garage.
Yeah, you never had garage pizza and beers? It's delicious.
Yeah, dude.
So like you just.
If somebody invite me to the garage, I'll be.
Oh
like,
wait, wasn't
no.
the first Resident Evil movie the one with that hallway and it's got the lasers? That one was
100%.
actually decent.
It was okay. Yanni was
That
pissed
one,
because he had to edit out a lot of nipples because like you see
Oh, yeah,
her,
that's true.
you see her nips like.
Did you
4
even
times
watch
in the
our
movie.
react? Like there was parts of it where just like some of the shit didn't make sense.
Yeah.
I don't
No.
I don't like the Alice storyline. It's not.
No, Alice is weird. Because they're like, okay, what do we do? And they're like, well, we can't do this because we're gonna fuck it up. Okay, let's just make something else, but still keep the property the same. And I'm like, all right, so it's non-canon.
I watched the first 3. I think what it was with the Alice thing was
Mila Jovovich.
It was
The Chosen One.
The Chosen One. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
it was it was explained in Resident Evil, I think it was 6, where the virus.
Afterlife. Right?
No, the video game Resident Evil 6.
6 is the shittiest video game, my guy.
No, I'm saying, but it explains how like
It would be the worst
virus
one that explains it.
Yeah, this is true. I'm not like defending it. The first one is the only one I could like outright say I would defend that one because at least that one stayed pretty close to the core of Resident Evil. But in Resident Evil 6, they explain I think the G virus mutation where it like encapsulates them and creates a duplicate, and I think that's what Alice is supposed to be. Is kind of like a.
She's a clone. She's
Yes.
just clones. Because what they do is they what you did was a succinct explanation of how the G virus works. What the movies do is go, she's a clone, and there's millions of them.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Oh yeah,
all right.
no, you have to draw that bridge, otherwise it makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, 100%. And that's
I had to
also,
justify watching them.
it was 5 and 6 that started calling it bioweapons at that point, I believe, because they used to just call it the T virus or the G virus or the Q virus or whatever the fuck, and then it was like bioweapons. I'm like,
Movie.
okay. Just
5
no,
and
just
6?
the games. The
Game
games
5
5
and
and
6?
6. They just
Oh, yeah.
started calling it bioweapons. Bioweapon. And then like Chris with his big dumb fucking mangoes smuggled into his arms, punching bowlers.
I love Chris.
Chris is great. I love him too.
Chris fucking Redfield.
Sheva, whatever her name was, she was a great fucking side character, like the African cop that hangs out with you. I'm like, yo, I want her in more games. She's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, you know, she had really good storyline, and they're like, we can't ever do that again. Why? Because we have black people chucking spears in the game, and it's like, oh yeah, good job.
I
Racism.
mean, you can have her, but you can't have
You
like
could
the
have
spear
her.
chucking. You cannot have like the ooga boogas in there. You can.
That was so bad. It was like I got to that part of the game, and I'm like, oh no. I was like, Capcom, what have you done?
Capcom is a menace.
They are a menace. They apologized though. They gave us big titty vampire lady.
They did. I accept that apology.
Yeah, I accept it. Speaking of giant women.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The other show that nerds have a problem with because they don't know about women at all, and they wouldn't know a woman if it.
What a
walked up and
transition.
bit 'em in the ass.
Yeah. I love She-Hulk. You know how I feel about bigger, like tall, big women. Like She-Hulk is like she's my sexual awakening.
That's right. That scene where she's carrying the guy, and all the Twitter comments are like, "Wish that was me."
I was like, "Oh,
Oh,
mommy, please,
Mommy, step on me.
Step
Give me
on
your
me.
big green ass.
Put your big green ass on my face." I'm a filthy degenerate. Anyway, She-Hulk,
Clip that.
which is a show that has recently came out. It's on Disney Plus. So of course there's obvious problems with the show.
I think the big two are like writing and VFX, right?
Yep, writing in VFX. It's a TV show, so I expect the visual effects not to be super great. Some
Sure.
shots it looks good, other shots it doesn't. Marvel has like a weird especially when it comes to new characters that they have, because they're not like used to designing these characters. Because this issue was with a problem with Black Panther during the fight scene. It didn't look great.
No.
But usually the more and more they work on the CG and design of the character in later movies, they look good. So I'm expecting, because the Hulk himself looked good in the show. But
Well, they had him down
She-Hulk
pat.
did-
They had so many movies to do stuff.
because
with
they
that.
had the rigging done. They had like rigging for like the past decade. So just like
They knew.
he's good, but like with She-Hulk, it's a little bit rough. So that part, it is what it is. It's all CG anyway. You got to use your imagination, fucker. Like it's not like it's a practical effect. It's not like they got a very giant woman and painted her green.
Yeah, they put Lou Ferrigno in a dress and fucking set him on the stage.
That's what they should be doing. But
who's a really hold on? Let me look up a really buff woman that could have played the real version of her.
People are like, at first when I was like watching it, I was just like, this is like, I can probably get into it or whatever, but like it's just not that great at the moment. I want to see how this turns out, so I'm going to keep watching it. But then I was just like, okay, this is a mediocre script, weirdly paced and stuff, and also it's very short of a show. Like each episode is like 23 minutes long. It's barely enough time to be fully invested in. So it's like, okay, this is like a mid show or whatever. And then like I turned to the internet, and of course you have the YouTubers that make their bread and butter off of constantly saying how woke nerd culture has gotten. And
It's so exhausting.
it was this with Lord of the Rings, or the what is it? What is the new Lord of the Rings shit?
Rings of Power. That's
Rings
coming out
of
next
Powers.
week. I'm excited. Pudds and I are gonna get like fucking snacks and drinks and weed. I'm super fucking excited to watch all of that. Like that's my most favorite anticipated thing coming out. I don't care. It's Lord of the Rings. I'm down.
And they got mad because there is there's other races
Black
and
elf.
black elves. Which I thought elves were just like humans, where they come in varieties. Where it's just like there's
They
black
do.
humans,
That's exactly it.
and then there's white humans. There's black elves. There's white elves. There's literally black elves in fucking every fantasy type shit. Granted, they're not the black elves you're thinking, but there are black elves. So it's just like if you want to say like
aren't they just called dark elves?
yeah,
they are
if you
called
want to
dark
say the dark elves are black elves, like. It's a little racist, but like at the same time,
It's super racist
Well,
because
fuck
they're
up.
evil in canon, but yeah.
I think dark elves are cool. So if black people are
They're
dark
super
elves,
cool.
then
Yeah, that's
I'm
cool.
fine with that.
I found a live action She-Hulk, Dory Rodriguez, the Miss Universe winner from the 2017.
Oh, okay.
Linked it in the chat. She just ripped.
She's just a rip lady. Okay, I'll
Just
save that to my
fucking-
personal archive.
That's right. Put some green paint on her, then do
Yep.
some kegels.
Oh no.
But yeah, people get like this, and like YouTube, like people have been making earnings off of YouTube just by constantly shitting on like how woke like nerd culture has got. Yeah, the quarter pounder
The quarter pounder.
Pounded by
Yo,
McDonald's.
that's so good.
but it's like yeah, it's just like for one, comics have been like having messages for years. Like like literally X-Men is like a fucking metaphor for racism. Like I don't like literally fucking Magneto was in a Jewish concentration camp. Yeah, this is like
fucking
like
you know,
clearly like political undertones and overtones. Literally the old school Civil War was talking about like
Hydra. Nazis.
Yeah, Hydra, Nazis and shit. It's just like there has been political undertones. Sure, it hasn't been as progressive as it is now because guess what? 30 years ago as a society, we weren't as progressive. It reflects the times or whatever. X-Men presented racism because at the time, like civil rights, this was like post-civil rights movements, even though like it was a little bit better for black people, it wasn't at its best. So culture reflected the art that was being put out there, and they're like, hey, you know what what mutants are a metaphor for? Black people.
No.
Literally. And then they did that in the movies.
It's like
they
Danny said, nope, it's not. The mutants are mutants. Fuck it. There's no political undertones. It's just
There was a political undertone. It was for gayness as well. It was the same thing in the movies. Remember with Rogue? And then they were all in line there, and they were like, you know, because they're getting the antidote.
We're getting red pill Danny right now. Oh no.
That's right. And then they go. Have you ever just tried not being a mutant? And it's just like, oh, hold on.
And also,
like, you know.
Speaking of red pill, literally, the Matrix is a metaphor for transitioning from man to woman. And if you need further proof, look at the Wachowskis, you dumbass. So it's just like,
jeez.
It's just like fucking I fucking zoned out for a complete second.
You went off. It's okay. No. You're making a joke. It's fine.
But it's
people
just
don't
like,
understand humor nowadays.
It's just like things have always been political, or there's always been a message in some sort of like media, nerd culture, media, depending on who's doing it. Like if a black person is going to make media, it's going to reflect like black culture in a sense if they want to decide to do that. Same with like if you're Jewish, if you're a female in society, if you're trans or whatever. It's just like there's always been political undertones. You just want to decide now to like to look to suss that shit out and want to decide everything is woke. She-Hulk is not a super woke show. It's just like very base. Sure, there's girl power moments, but hell, I think fucking the most egregious girl power moment was like literally that scene in Endgame where like literally is just like shows
all the women showed up. Yeah,
this is like females rise, and then I immediately face palmed in theater. I was just like, you know what you're doing.
You know what's really funny?
I wanted like them in Endgame to be like darkies rise, and then like Falcon and Black Panther and all of Wakanda. It's just like,
sorry. But his name's not Falcon; it's Captain America now.
Oh yes.
but like that whole scene, there was this guy behind me. So quick story about the Avengers Endgame fucking movie that Pudds and I went to go see. So we went to go see it. This was the movie that theater is dead and movie theaters suck. So we go to go see the movie, and we're sitting down in the movie, and like there's a guy behind me that like I think he was like, I don't know, maybe he was on the spectrum or something. Because he was talking the whole fucking movie and shouting shit out. And I have no issue with people Because like at first I'm like, okay, this guy's an asshole, I'm gonna yell at him. And then like one of his friends are like, yeah, buddy, I know, I got you. And I'm like, all right, fuck, I can't. Because clearly,
no, what the fuck you
like,
yelled at him, bro?
Yeah, but like there's a way, there's, you know, that's different when like there's like 4 of them and 2 of us, and I didn't want to be that guy because I already look like a Nazi and I didn't want to.
Yanni, it's different in Canada, man. And in the US, you just shoot up the fucking.
In the US, you do.
theater.
Yeah, in the US, you go to Batman and you just shoot everybody.
Yep, because someone was talking.
But you, like, so like we're sitting there, and in that scene in question, he goes, "Ow, ow, girl power!" And I was like, I never in my life wanted to stand up and punch someone in the face so hard.
See, because that moment was specifically made for him, for people that would jump up out of their seat and be like, "Girl power." But like that was more egregious than anything that happened in She-Hulk. There's actually a moment where like I believe people just truly just didn't understand like what they were going for, because there's a scene where She-Hulk, Jen Walters, explains to like Bruce that she's able to control it better because she's a woman. She's had to deal with like men belittling her, with getting catcalled and shit like that. And then as she is explaining all this, she's clearly losing control. She's turning into She-Hulk, which shows that she does not have control. Guys think that this, but people on the internet thinks that like, oh, she's being a bitch. She's just like, she's doing the girl power shit. Like, no. This is not showing that she's in the right. This is showing that she does not have the proper control.
She is saying she has the control, but she doesn't have it. But like, and that's the whole point.
Open your third eye, you dumbass, and like actually consume the media and see that this is a visual metaphor that she doesn't have control, so she's not in the right. This is not confirming that women are better than men or whatever. But no,
I don't even think it requires a third eye. If you can visually see it on the fucking screen, then it's these 2 eyes right here. Look, she doesn't have control. Okay, they're on the same wavelength.
I see.
Wow.
Yeah. And the reason why I hate this is because time and time again, shit like this happens, and it forces me to defend a film or a movie or a TV show that's just mid.
It's just not good. It's just whatever.
And it's just like I'm sitting here defending it because you nerds are overreacting over literally nothing. Like, this isn't the most woke show ever. This is just baseline. We gotta cover all our bases because Disney, like the same thing where like people were mad at Disney for like just saying gay or whatever, allowing people to say gay in their films and movies and TV shows and shit. People getting mad saying like, oh, Disney's making our children gay. Like Disney is literally Disney is just only doing baseline shit.
People weren't mad. China was mad, and when China is mad, less money for Disney. That's literally what it is.
No, people were mad. People were outside of Disney World protesting.
Why? Shut up. Hey, guess what? Gay people exist. Sorry. Like, they're there. Sorry.
No.
Yeah, you got no, man. I saw a dude suck dick once. Yeah.
Sinner.
It was actually kind of hot, dude.
It's all right. It was like I was like, man, interesting.
It was like, hopefully this doesn't awaken anything in me.
Like you didn't see that. Send a link in the chat. Or not in the chat, not in the chat, in the Discord.
Send a link in the chat, says Danny. I really want to see that dude sucking dick. Come on.
We're gonna get banned. We're definitely gonna get banned on YouTube. I'm black and
Speaking of gay people, let's talk about Metal Gear Solid.
Actually, we have a few more topics. So Jake, we got a few more topics to talk about. It's gonna be real fast.
That's fun. I just wanted to try that transition on for size, see how it was.
Didn't work.
Speaking of size, Piccolo got a lot bigger.
That's right.
In the new Dragon Ball Super movie, Dragon Ball Super Heroes. I didn't get to see the movie, but like I've seen screenshots and I've seen the important stuff to know that like this is just good. My 2 favorite characters are finally getting a shine in Dragon Ball, and they're fixing kind of like the power scaling thing where it's just like there's Goku and Vegeta, and then everybody else, and I want to say like Piccolo and Gohan were like right here, and then like
I would say Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, Gohan, everyone else. That's what that's where I think the power levels are.
And the problem is, when you create a scaling issue like that, it's always going to be, how is Goku and Vegeta going to solve this? Not like, how is Krillin going to solve this? Or like, how is Gohan going to solve this? How is Piccolo going to solve this? No, it's going to be Goku or Vegeta because like they're the only ones who are like powerful enough to like scale with the enemies that they present in the
plot armor.
In the show. So plot armor,
They got big old plot armor for sure.
But
I think the designs are cool.
I especially like Gohan's design. It kind of looks like a mixture of like Super Saiyan 2 with Ultra Instinct. Like, it looks dope.
Yeah.
And
Beast mode.
and Orange Piccolo. I hate that it's just called Orange Piccolo. Come up with better. Toriyama. And
They might have just called it Orange
successor.
Crush.
Come up with better names for like Super Saiyan Blue. Like, call it.
Like,
give it a proper name, please.
Piccolo's
Orange
just
Piccolo.
like, my name is Fanta now.
Black Frieza.
Black Frieza, yeah. What the fuck, man?
Yeah, like, just like their power is their color. Like, ooh, orange. Orange is really scary and intimidating. Don't watch out for Orange Piccolo. Like,
Yeah.
High visibility Piccolo.
Piccolo kind of like in this orange form. He looks like what's the Namekian's name from that Dragon Ball movie? Slug.
Slug.
Oh
yeah,
yeah, Lord Slug.
Slug's like more olivey, grossy, orangey, kind of old though. Like it was more like old.
Well, no, I get what you're saying because he's hulky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
like the yeah.
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 But he's orange.
But I like it. But Danny, you said you had a lot to talk about this, so I want to hear your opinions.
Yeah. What do you think?
Oh yeah. I mean, well, Piccolo. I mean, anyone who's watched Dragon Ball from like early days, like myself, like Piccolo is kind of like the pseudo father figure. You know what I mean? And you see him keep up with Goku up till he fights Frieza. Goku fights Frieza. Till then, like up till then, Goku's neck and neck power level with him. You know what I mean? And then he just kind of dies off. Like you know what I mean? You see that he absorbs Kami and Nail, and unless you get into like looking in the manga and looking up lore and all that stuff, you don't really know that his power level is actually increasing because he doesn't get the screen time, he doesn't get the spotlight, you know what I mean? So I'm glad that he finally got the spotlight for it, but it's really nothing like too new besides him turning orange. He turns giant, which he's done before.
Yeah, he has that power.
In old Dragon Ball.
He has like Slug's power though, because like he already is kind of like a super Namekian. Like he's always had that power. And then like when he kind of got Kami and Nail, that only exemplified that power.
Why don't you just absorb all the Namekians? Just to like be like, you know what? Just give me.
Come here, Dende.
And see that was another point is like in the Tournament of Power, you have those two Namekians who pretty much absorbed their whole species to be the fighter of them, and Piccolo was able to
still fight them,
whip their ass. Yeah.
So it's like he clearly has the secret sauce. Kami was the strongest because Kami was absorbing everyone. Probably that's my clinical analysis of Piccolo.
Well, Kami separated his evil self from him.
Yep.
And when Piccolo was fighting Goku back pre-Frieza and pre-absorbing Kami, he was pretty much only at like a fraction of his full power because Kami, the other half, wasn't absorbed yet.
But Piccolo turns good though. You know what I mean? Like he just kind of turns into like a good. Like he's still kind of like he sees and views Goku as an ally, and he sees Vegeta as a reluctant ally still. Even though Vegeta, like Bulma, was like, "I'm just gonna tame the Saiyan ass," and she did. you know. Apparently in Super, she wishes for a Brazilian butt lift or some shit.
Bulma uses the Dragon Balls to keep herself younger, which is like, which is canon, which has been
so funny. They have a screenshot of Bulma's ass, and guys are just like, "I'm for real gonna go out the screen." It's like, whoa, fucking slow down, buddy. Like,
but more important, in my opinion, than Piccolo was Gohan, because as a kid, watching Gohan as a kid, then getting older as Gohan's getting older, you know what I mean? You kind of like, you relate it, you know, back and forth.
Yeah.
And Gohan, I mean, shit, when Raditz showed up, Gohan knocked him out. You know what I mean? It's a fucking kid. No fighting experience except for like
the big headbutt.
Big ass headbutt. But then, you know, the last spotlight I want to say Gohan really got was Cell Games.
Yep.
Which even then still kind of got undercut by Goku because of the father-son Kamehameha.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So then he fucks off. He doesn't do anything till pretty much the Majin Buu series.
So hold
He
on.
fucks-
What if instead of father son Kamehameha, it was father son special beam cannon?
I mean-
because he only do like, could you imagine if Piccolo's like, get the fuck out of here, and he helps fucking go on?
I mean,
that would have been great.
Should have been. It should have been.
That would be awesome.
But what? Then he goes train with Elder Kai.
Yep. He
You know
gets
what I mean?
his well, he no, because Majin Buu, hey, power up to your strongest version of your Super
Yeah.
Saiyan. He goes, okay, I can do that. I did that in the Cell games. Does it, and they take his energy away. Fuck, I can't go Super Saiyan anymore. And then it's like, okay, well, go train with the Supreme Elder Kai, and then he unlocks his full potential. And he's like, holy shit!
Yep.
And he's like, yeah, you don't need to go Super Saiyan anymore. You have full potential. Like your potential's been unlocked.
Yeah.
And
So
he's,
then
wow.
great.
Which is
Not
like
big
cool.
Gohan.
Like Mystic Gohan is all cool, but like kind of like it kind of sucks because they like they didn't give him a new form. He just looks regular, and also
He
it
just
didn't
looks
help that they
rad.
also made him look like Yamcha in the cell art.
Yeah.
I feel like they did that on purpose. They're trying to get rid of my boy Gohan. They're trying to make him look stupid.
Well,
But,
Toriyama originally
I feel
wanted
like-
to make it Gohan was the new Goku. He was the new guy, but it just never happened.
Yeah, Gohan was supposed to be the Boruto of Dragon Ball Z, but they was
Yeah.
just like, you know what, we're not going to do that because people love Goku so much. And then they did Super, and they're like, Goku kind of sucks. Like,
He's an asshole, dude. He literally put everyone, all the universes in danger because I want to fight strong people. Like,
I'm gonna let
dude,
you power up to full, Jiren, and it's just
yeah,
like,
you
and
asshole.
he does.
Dude. You're an asshole.
Wow.
Absolutely.
they were able. I think it just comes down to bad writing too, where they were able. They haven't wrote Goku in like 20 years, so like they figured out they missed the point of like how Goku is able to still be protector of Earth, but also still seek fights. Like he just doesn't purposely put people in danger in order to like get a good battle or whatever. And I know some people will be like, oh well, Goku was just going to wish them back with the Super Dragon Balls or whatever. Like, but what if he didn't win? What if he didn't win?
right? That's
Like,
right.
what if
Yeah.
somebody
He
else
doesn't
win? And they
Yeah,
can't
that's-
like do the like whole thing at the end where it's just like, oh, the person who gets the Super Dragon Balls, they're supposed to wish everybody back to life because, or
That's
the only
whole
wish you can
purpose.
do.
yeah.
Yeah.
It just felt like there was like zero hindsight by Goku, and it sucks. But Super also made Vegeta a much better character too, and like literally made like, why can't Vegeta be the main character now? Because like
they
I
hate
feel
him.
like no,
hate
I feel like Vegeta as of recent is like kind of up there with Goku. I think like he gets good character moments. Because I feel
they gave
like
him that new power though. Didn't they give him the new power in the manga, and then they immediately lost like right away?
yeah. Because
This
even
me is
though
my evil, and they're like lost.
Because even though they give Goku the good battles and stuff like that, good forms or whatever, but I feel like they hate Goku because his character is such ass now compared to like how he was like back then. Whereas Vegeta, he's been given a lot of better character moments and a lot of character growth. But at the same time, like they kind of fuck him over when it comes to battles and stuff like that. So
all the time.
Goku's stayed the same since day one. He's always
no
been
growth.
a cocky shit.
But I mean, like, but
cocky.
Goku's gotten worse. It's just like in old age, he has gotten worse, and it's just like, and I saw that apparent like when I watched Dragon Ball GT compared to Super, where it's just like in GT, Goku just stayed the same, even though like he transformed to the kid, he just stayed the same. He was still immature or whatever. But I felt like he genuinely cared about people in his family, as opposed here, like it seems like he just doesn't give a shit about anybody but fighting.
No, he just wants to become strong.
But and then like what do you think they're going to do with Gohan and Piccolo in the future? Do you think they're going to actually like
Nothing.
have arcs? No,
they're like, all right, shut up. Here you go, peasants. Here's new forms, and then nothing will happen with them. It'll go right back to status quo. That's what I think.
I don't know. It's hard to say because like, isn't Vegeta, he's going Ultra Ego or some shit like that.
Yeah.
He's getting like Beerus's like training for uh destructive, like the Hakai.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's getting destruction training because
Yeah.
his ego, and he's like, if you look at both of them, like if you think of it in the sense of like yin yang, Goku is
Mhm.
like the good. I don't know which one's which. I think Yin's good, Yang is bad. He is the
Yeah.
yin to Vegeta's yang, and they're both kind of that's they keep each other in check in a way. Because Goku's
Mhm.
like, I'm happy but fighting, and Vegeta's like, I want to conquer though, and he's like, but no, because Goku's always stronger than Vegeta, and that's how
Right.
they keep that power balance in check. Because Vegeta
I
will work
don't
his
know,
ass
bro.
off.
Like teaching
to that
Vegeta
level.
Hakai seems like a mistake for some reason.
Oh,
Just like,
Right.
absolutely, it is.
it feels like, in a way, like
Ugh.
I don't know. I think Vegeta's more tame now, maybe. But like,
The only thing I can think of that Gohan would be like another like spotlight in is either Broly 2.0, what's his name? Or her name, Khalifa?
yeah, Caulifla, yeah.
Yeah, Khalifa. If they do something with that where like if she loses control type deal, or because they haven't touched Oob.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm.
Oob could be evil. That'd be interesting. Like they just go, nah, fuck it, he's evil because nature doesn't change, and he's just still evil. The same thing. That'd be interesting.
Could be, or Vegeta could try to destroy Oob, Oob being good, and then Vegeta becomes the main antagonist.
And also,
That'd be hard to
Frieza
do,
is just
though.
like out there, you know, right? Like Frieza. Honestly, what would be dope is they bring Frieza back, bring Cell back, because Cell is actually legitimately a problem.
Max Cell.
Yeah.
Like people are like, oh, Frieza, if he trained a little bit, he would be OP or whatever, and then that's what they're showing with Gold Frieza. But legitimately, if Cell had more time and more people to absorb.
Well, you know, Cell is in superhero, right?
Yeah. But I mean, like, actually, like, bring him back proper.
Bring him back like a threat.
Yeah. Not Max Cell. You're talking about like the perfect being Cell.
Yeah.
Perfect Max Ultra Cell.
Because he has Saiyan he literally has Saiyan DNA. He could like Cell's potential is like untapped. Like I kind of honestly wish they would have brought Cell back instead of Frieza. Because I just don't like what they're doing with Frieza, because they're kind of making him kind of be like Vegeta, where it's just like, I hate you, but like we collab.
But I'm kind of a good guy.
We kind of do some good work together. It's just like, it's just like this guy's a menace. Why are you going to do? Like he's literally went back to conquering shit, and he has his people back. He literally instigated the shit with Broly. It's just like clearly he's not like. It's just so dumb. I hated the fact that they're just like, hey, Frieza.
They should do a thing where Cooler becomes like Golden Cooler or whatever the fuck, or like Cooler Black or whatever the fucking thing is now. But Cooler becomes this ridiculously stupid, like strong thing. Like the Big Yeti Star's gone, right? But like Cooler like comes back as like the main antagonist, and he gives Frieza a run for his money. Like really badly.
That would actually be dope, because like how they made Broly canon within Super, they can make Cooler actually canon and like and do that in Super like that.
And then Broly and Cooler have this standstill fight that's just destroying the fucking galaxy, and it's bad for everyone. So Frieza shows up and goes, "Hey, we got a problem." Like, you know, and so you get your first interaction Frieza fight. Like he shows up, Goku's somewhere, but Gohan's like, "Fuck you, you're evil," and then he goes Beast Gohan mode, and they fight really, really hard for like a bit. And then Frieza's like, "No, idiot, I need your help. Where's your father?" Right, which also pisses Gohan off because no, I can help. So then Frieza teams up with Gohan and Piccolo as they go out to fucking help Broly stop Cooler.
I love your fan fiction that you're creating here, Jake.
Done. Perfect.
Post it on 4chan and see how the reviews go. See what they think about that.
But hear me out. They bring back Yukon.
Ooh. They bring back
exactly who. He was the green demon from the beginning of the Babidi series. Essentially, Goku and just fed him ki until he blew up.
Bring back Turles.
Bring back Turles.
Fuck Goku Black. Where's Turles at? Where's
they might go the Xenoverse route because they touched different time.
But then the Xenoverse is predicated on you, the player, are the strongest entity because you can learn any move. You literally are plucked from a timeline where none of these other fighters existed, and you are the best of all of them, packaged into a Frost Devil, a Namekian, a human, or a Boo person. A Majin.
And fuck it, make the one that one manga where it was a fan of Dragon Ball was reincarnated as Yamcha.
Yeah.
In the Dragon Ball universe. So essentially he was able to like become the strongest because he like knew how everything would turn out, and then that's how he did it. Like make that canon as well.
Yeah, did you see that animated one where that Indonesian team made Broly versus Vegeta and Goku gets that super cool Ghost Rider form? You
Dragon
haven't
Ball
seen
Legends.
that?
Yeah.
Yanni, it is the coolest shit. It's animated so smoothly, and then people, hold on, let me see if I can find it. It is animated so fucking smoothly. You're gonna be like, man, Dragon Ball sucks now. I don't want to watch anything but this.
Well, I think they could go the Xenoverse route as far as like different time distortions, because that brings.
It is
Trunks
Legend,
back
yeah.
in,
Legend
Trunks
to
back
Dragon
in,
Ball Tale.
and,
That's the one.
Gohan as a focal point, because Trunks and Gohan are like best buds.
Yeah. Like I honestly, I would like to see that. I kind of want to see
That'd be
future
pretty
Trunks
cool.
come back. I don't know why.
I want something with Oob. I've been
Yeah.
waiting
Oob would be cool.
for so long since Kid Buu died.
This just shows that Dragon Ball has so much potential and stuff in it.
It does.
Where fans are creating like better stories than what they're doing currently right now with Dragon Ball Super, the manga, because people are apparently not loving it.
No, it's not doing well.
I don't hate it. I just want more.
Yeah.
Well, because it's like we've seen enough of it, and not to say we'd be better writers than whoever's doing the property right now, but it's like a lot of like the Western audience that has seen this because it was given to us. Like they look at it and they go, "Man, this has some really good story arcs and storytelling setup." And it's like we know the characters because we've grown up with them, and it's just like you could easily be like, "Here's a fucking thing we could see that'd be really, really good," right?
Right.
And it's like I almost wonder if like there's novelizations that could be written for this, right? You know what I mean? Like, has there ever been like a Dragon Ball novel written? Like, is that something where someone could write a story that
Have
way?
you ever read the fanfic called Dragon Ball AF?
I have no, I have not. But that sounds great.
Oh my god.
Dragon Ball AF. Dragon Ball AF.
It's your typical fan fiction, and it's very long. And I mean, it's interesting because like you as a person or a fan of something think that like you can write the best story for Dragon Ball or whatever, and possibly maybe we can, because we're tailoring it to a specific group of people. Whereas mangaka have to like they have a wider audience that they have to appease to. There are people that only fuck with Goku. That like apparently a majority of Dragon Ball fans really fucking like Goku. Like they like Goku's the best character. And it's just like we're in the minority where it's just like, what about these other characters? What about Vegeta?
Yeah.
What about Gohan? What about Trunks? These are our favorite characters, but like, no, especially in Japan, there's like a large audience that's just like, no, main character.
I think it's because the voice actress for Goku is just so well renowned. She just fucking does it. She just kills it. Like, you know what I mean?
Well,
even like when we played Fortnite the other day and we're picking up the Kamehamehas and using it, we're like, oh, that's the OG fucking voice actress. Yeah. Like, you know, it was cool. Cause like we have that kind of like, it's in our heart to like that person. Cause they've been doing it.
Well, I think it's also like, a difference for culture, like Western, Eastern, whereas like, you know what I mean? Western, like us, we look at a lot of the small things and then the picture as a whole, whereas they appreciate the small things, but they hold the like main protagonist on a pedestal. Because you could say the same thing from Dragon Ball with Eastern to a lot of different animes. You know what I mean? Demon Slayer, fucking
the main character's boring in Demon Slayer though.
Yeah.
I sniff people. Okay, Joe Biden, like fuck.
But that's oh god. but that's my point. You know what I mean?
I like
there's like a huge culture for like,
cooler.
especially with shonens, the main character is like he's the surrogate for you. He is like that is the reason why it's called shonen. It's just like it's
One Piece.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? One Piece is another
dude,
one.
Zoro. Zoro's fucking cool. So
I think
Sanji.
Luffy is like
Sanji.
he's not like necessarily interesting, but I like him as a main character more than like any of the like of most shonen, because I feel like they don't really I don't want to say break the mold with Luffy, but like at the same time, like I feel like Luffy is more like, it's hard to explain. Like he's generic, but he's generic in a way that like I can get behind.
Luffy's generic, but he's a very, because like his thing is like, it's not about I'm the main guy, it's about my crew is gonna fuck you up, and that's the thing that like is a huge draw for him, because he's for his friends. He's what are you gonna be, Luffy? I'm gonna be king of the pirates, but also my crew is the most important treasure to me, which is going to be what the One Piece is at the end of this show. They're going to get in and all look in the mirror, and it's going to be like, your crew is the One Piece.
Oh my god.
I
really bad.
Like, I don't want to like. Clearly, I put too much time into One Piece, but
or it's going to be like, One Piece is this gun they find, and they give Luffy a gun.
Actually, no. Actually, Jake, you might be the closest to actually what One Piece might be. Yeah. But like this is there's so much behind. Like I've been researching because I'm doing like a video about it. But like I don't think One Piece is going to be like, it's the friends that you made along the ways. There's so much indicators that it's something. One Piece is something tangible.
It's a tangible treasure. Like,
but
for sure.
But for the Straw Hats, it's not about the treasure. It's about the journey or whatever. It's about literally becoming king of the pirates. It's a status symbol for Luffy. That's the driving factor.
It's him and Buggy and two other guys that are now the main whatevers that are the most wanted pirates, right?
Yeah, Buggy, which is hilarious as shit.
That's
Luffy,
so good. I love it.
Buggy, Luffy, Shanks, and Blackbeard are the four. They're the
four
top dogs.
Buggy being a top dog, I'm like, he cheated and lied his way into that fucking position. You know it.
Buggy is like, if you just like look at how Buggy is.
Buggy's
like,
just by circumstance, dude.
Yeah,
like
Buggy's
he just
the best.
happens to be there when shit happens, and then he's like, my bounty went up.
Yeah. This is like, it is hilarious, and it's funny because like he's now the face of like the new pirate group, which is formed of Crocodile. Jake, you know who Crocodile is?
I know Crocodile
the sand guy, and Mihawk, the strongest swordsman in
that's
the
so
world.
good.
And
that's the best.
It is hilarious.
Gosh.
It is the funniest thing ever.
And Buggy's the holy fuck.
Yeah.
Like, Buggy has two of the strongest beings with him, and he's like, I'm the best. It's like, you stupid fuck. I love it. It's perfect.
It's hilarious. I actually
love that
I
so
actually
much.
really love it.
That's amazing.
But yeah, speaking of Japanese,
we went from Dragon Ball Z to One Piece.
It's all encompassing, man. Toei has some of the best properties for stories ever, and that's why, like, if we
they have
rewind
Toei
back to
finesse the system because they have the two longest running animes ever. Like,
it's crazy.
Like, once One Piece is over, I don't know what Toei is. Toei's going to have to like force another mangaka to make a 1,000 chapter.
Like, there's going to be another
2-piece.
Yeah, 2-piece.
It's gonna be 2-piece, and it's gonna be about a kid that works at Popeye's Chicken, and it's gonna be a cross-venture promotional deal, and the kid secretly is Angel Gabriel that has to fight Satan at an expected date, but he doesn't want to do it because I just want to live my life, man, as a normal mortal person. And that's the story.
The treasure is the Colonel from KFC's Secret Spice.
The Secret Spices.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the Indiana Jones cup of that at the end.
Yep.
It's just like fucking what, cayenne, paprika.
What's our next topic? Oh my god, I can't.
Well, we've talked about fucked up shit. Do you want to talk about more fucked up shit? Like
a giant bucket of treasure. Yeah, okay, so it's time, ladies and gentlemen, to get into Metal Gear Solid.
Oh no.
I can nutshell the entire series for you.
Oh, you want to nutshell it, huh?
Yeah, nutted, dude.
Nutted, dude.
There are 4 main characters in Metal Gear Solid.
Give me that nut.
Solid Snake, Raiden, the Big Boss, and then Venom Snake. Those are the 4 main protagonists that you play as in the game.
Mm-hmm.
The game is about military states controlling people and freedom fighters rising up through espionage to stop nuclear bipedal machines.
What, you're telling me this game is political? I will not take any political games, you know? People getting all woke with this political nonsense.
Most woke. It's also really stupid. And I have a confession to make live on stream. The very first Metal Gear Solid game that I played all of them, was the Twin Snakes on the Nintendo GameCube. That was my first Metal Gear Solid game. It was the retelling of Metal Gear Solid, which people are like, have you ever played that? Yes, I have. Of the two, between PS1 and the GameCube version of the retelling, I like the GameCube version better.
Yeah.
And that's a cardinal sin to say right here.
I don't think I've ever played the GameCube version of it. I remember the PS1 one was my first.
Is much better.
Yes.
Yes, because it's it's just better.
You get over the shoulder. You get better camera. You can look at first person for stuff. You can.
It looks like Metal Gear Solid 2. Like
that's why people don't like it. Because a lot of people didn't like 2, and 2 is great. I think 2 is one of the better games.
I think the reason why people didn't like 2 is because of other reasons other than the way it looked.
I like Raiden. Raiden was great.
I mean, hindsight, yes, but people were just like mad, like who's this long-haired guy? But we're about to get to it chronologically. We got to break this down because
chronologically, okay, starting in the Cold War.
No, we're not starting with 3. We're not starting with.
Okay, all right,
chronologically because that would be confusing.
You are talking to the guy who knows a lot of shit about Metal Gear Solid.
So, nutshell version. Snake is being sent to well, actually, Jake, you can probably nutshell it better than me. Metal Gear Solid 1.
The first game, Metal Gear Solid, you play as Solid Snake, voiced by David Hayter, who is going to Shadow Moses Island, a detachment in Alaska, to stop terrorists from an old group that ran with the U.S. military called Foxhound, in which they are threatening to launch the nuclear weapons to the United States using a Metal Gear. A Metal Gear being a bipedal arming station that can fire full nukes and can be mobilized in any climate, anywhere, whatever. Snake shows up and fights a black man. He fights a weird dude, a gimp in a mask. He fights his twin brother. He fights another black man that's giant but also native and has a minigun. A woman. And he rescues a guy that pisses his pants. And he rescues a rookie.
Yeah,
maybe one of the two.
Yeah,
one gives you the infinite bandana, one gives you stealth camo.
I mean,
Metal Gear Solid 1
and also he has a clone, a clone brother.
We're gonna get into that later. That's explained in all the other games. But basically, Solid Snake has a clone brother called Liquid Snake.
Yes.
Who also has military backgrounds. Like they're both militaries. They're both Green Berets.
Yeah.
If you look into their histories, one was with the British Armed Forces, the other was with the United States. They were derived from genes from the best soldier in the world, whose actual military title is Big Boss, which is fucking stupid, but it's awesome at the same time.
Yeah.
And they were derived. Gay Rambo, and they were derived from this super soldier who is the greatest soldier ever. We'll go into that in the third game. But anyway, they fight atop a Metal Gear Solid, the Metal Gear Rex, shirtless, as they do. And Snake essentially has been implanted with this virus called Fox Dye, in which when he gets close to the operatives, part of Foxhound, this virus that's in his body, which is later explained in 4 as nanomachines, because nanomachines, basically they infiltrate through the airwaves to these people that also had the similar nanomachines, and they die. So one dude known as Camouflage Octopus, you don't even get to fight him, he just dies. There's another, that Sniper Wolf, she dies. Like he shoots them, but they die from Fox Dye. Not from him shooting them, from this poisonous material that they imbibe, and it shuts down their organs.
Yeah.
The gameplay it's a stealth game.
Gameplay is not the best.
It's okay. It's good. It's all right for the first game. It's pretty good.
We'll say the first couple of stealth games, because there's definitely a game that I could think of that you don't have to stealth. You can just do some goofy shit.
Do not. Yeah. So the first game was very interesting.
A metaphor for hey, nukes are bad, ladies and gentlemen. Nukes are bad. Who knew a Japanese man would have this for nuanced thought that nukes are bad? Who would have thought? It's not like
Hideo Kojima writes a lot of weird shit, but Metal Gear Solid still holds a special place in my heart, even though it's fucking bananas. The whole story.
Like Metal Gear Solid is anime.
Yeah,
it's strict. Like it has like it's weird characters. It has weird moments. Honestly, I really don't like the controls in Metal Gear Solid, if I'm being 100% honest. It's
That's
too
fair.
convoluted. Honestly, because I came back to Metal Gear Solid. Like, I didn't, like, play it initially when it came out because it came out when I was 3. So,
Yeah.
I obviously didn't play I obviously didn't
Pick up
play
the
it when it
sticks,
came out.
man. Pick up the sticks.
Yeah, give this little baby a controller and figure out
Give
that I
it
have
to
to
him.
press 3
Goo
buttons
goo
to crouch.
gaga. Does not
crouches and
plasma on the
shoot.
battlefield. Like,
It's just I started playing like shooter video games around like the Mass Effect era, and it's just like
Yeah.
if it's not like Gears of War or Mass Effect when it comes to shooting, I instantly hate it because I felt like
Yeah.
they perfected that combat. But
they did. And that was because of Resident Evil 4.
yeah,
That was the one that changed all the combat. But
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid was very much a stealth game, and it was interesting because it was, if you ever go on like 4chan back in the day where they'd have technology threads, where like you do something in a game and it would react to it, Metal Gear is an epitome of technology. You could do shit to the genome guards and be like, and knock, and then they'd be like, what was that noise? And they'd come on over, and then you'd be like behind a wall, and you'd wait for them to turn around and get them, and then you'd choke them out, and
Yep.
you can put them in lockers. Or you
that
can do
stuff
whatever.
I respect a lot about like Metal Gear, but I respect it more in Metal Gear 5 because I feel like the controls are a lot better, and
it was way better.
But like I love like the different ways you can like sort of set up enemies where it's just like I can like shoot this class over here and then like and then like they'll be like whoa what's going on with that, and then you gotta take them out and you can like and you got different trank darts and stuff like that. I just wish it was like more streamlined and less convoluted. But
the game rewarded you for not killing people, which was interesting. Because like the bosses die, but it's one of those things where you can trank the boss to a death point or an unconscious point. You don't necessarily have to shoot them. They have a health bar and a stamina bar, and I always found that very interesting that you could be like, oh, Sniper Wolf, well, she's way the fuck over there. How do I get to her? And I've gotten to her like crawling to her and then beating her up. Like, you know what I mean, and getting her for stamina that way. So I've beaten up all the games and
the roll tech where you can just roll into enemies and then you just knock them out. I want to do that. We used to do that back in high school. We used to roll into. We try to like do a roll into people to knock them over. Hey, let's just say someone got suspended for it. But
So we're gonna go over some of the main villains.
What about Metal Gear and Metal Gear the old games?
On the NES? Yeah. The top-down NES ones those covered the story of Snake as he was a rookie when he had to go kill Big Boss. Mm-hmm. So he had to go in and destroy Big Boss, and he beat him with a lighter and an aerosol can, which was cool. Canonically, that's the way Big Boss. But see, the thing with that though, and we're gonna get to this later, that Big Boss wasn't actually Big Boss.
Yep.
And we're gonna talk about that in 5 when we get to it. So let's talk about 1 and kind of wrap up with the bosses. Then we'll go on to 2. So for the bosses,
chronologically, for video game wise, those games came first.
Yes, those games came first. They were top down, and that was his first kind of foray into let's tell a story. But the technology was limited at the time, so it wasn't as good as what we got with Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation. I played those games too. They were fucking stupid, but they were fun. Like it gave you kind of an insight into who Snake was, who Gray Fox was before everything. And then when you get into 1, which is after the fact, this is years later, he's in Alaska doing his own thing, and they're like, we have an operative out there. So Colonel Campbell, your old CO, goes, hey, Snake, we need you to blah, blah, blah. And Snake's like, I'm in Alaska smoking cigarettes. And he's like, okay, can you go help stop this thing? He's like, sure. And he goes and does it. So they bring him in. And like the thing with Kojima is he's very particular about describing military operations and equipment and guns. Metal Gear games are gun porn, and like everything involved with Metal Gear is very, very minute, and all the minutia of guns and combat and like military warfare and history is very just ultra examined and magnified by everything he's ever done, which is fantastic to me. And I really like that because it helped build the world that you were in. We'll get more into that for 3, but like the one thing I want to talk about is the bosses in 1. So we'll go through in order that you encounter them. So the first boss that you fight would be group of genome soldiers when you rescue Meryl Silverberg. So Meryl is more of the character we talk about there. What do you guys think about Meryl?
She's all right.
Better as a Pokemon.
Yeah.
So Meryl Silverberg is Colonel Campbell's daughter, who he sent in for an operation. And this is her first operation ever. She's a rookie. And like there's a point where like the soldiers show up and like Snake goes, what are you standing there for? Don't just stand there, shoot. the safety's on, and she turns it off and kills a bunch of dudes. And then she's like, she murders a bunch of guys, or she's death for the first time. And it does a really good job of, at least in the Twin Snakes, of giving her like this dizziness of like, I just fucking murdered people. Like, you know, and Snake's like, you'll shake that off after a bit. So there's that. The second fight that you run into is like the first real boss fight you get to, I would say would be, I believe it's Psycho Mantis. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I thought we came onto Sniper Wolf before we did Mantis. I feel like Mantis was like halfway through the game.
Yes, Mantis was halfway through because then it was Vulcan. Yeah, Sniper Wolf was the first because she shoots Meryl in the knee, which is an awesome fucking scene in the Twin Snakes. Her knee just gets blown the fuck out, and then you beat Sniper Wolf and then get captured and then have to escape. Right, that's right. So Sniper Wolf is the first boss in which you have to snipe her, like, you know, and it's very interesting on how that works gameplay wise. When you're aiming down the sniper, you can overdose on Pentazem and kill your guy if you take too many to steady your hands, because it just shuts down your brain.
Yeah.
Also,
she was a sick boss. What'd you guys think of Sniper Wolf? And I'm using Twin Snakes as a point of reference.
I mean, I thought like the idea was her idea was interesting. I honestly, I think like low key, she was probably one of the weaker ones. I much more prefer like the later, because I feel like her story wasn't really that like grounded to me.
Yep.
I'm more of a Psycho Mantis type of person, mostly because he's also interesting as like just to have there's characters with powers and shit.
Yeah, it's very supernatural for a lot of them having abilities. Like with her thing is she was like a Kurdish sniper, I think it was, and they talked about how she used to like during like the war where you'd have like the Mujahideen, and like it goes really really deep into what happened with Russia and Israel and shit, and how she was part of those wars as a sniper. And she's like, I was the only sniper that I'd worked by myself. Like that was her own thing. She's like, I would just work on my own because I knew with nature, like the dogs and the movement of like the whatevers, I would go, oh, there's enemies over there, bang, and she'd fucking kill them. So that was her whole thing. She was just a crack shot.
And she's also like there's also a theme of child soldiers. She was raised by, she was brought up by Big Boss and everything, and shows that
she was
Big
a child
Boss
soldier.
wasn't a good guy.
No, well, yes, but no. The real Big Boss was a great guy. The other Big Boss was not. We'll get to that though. The story is so fucking convoluted. So you fight her. Next on the docket would be then Psycho Mantis. Mm-hmm. So you like Psycho Mantis, Yanni? Why do you like him?
Mostly because the boss, the way to beat him is, or the way to escape from him is interesting. Or just like, oh, you gotta plug the controller into like the second port. That's actually fun. If you're playing on emulator, it's a nightmare. But like if you
activate it the second port and do all that shit, it's fucking horrible. I think my favorite thing with him for Twin Snakes was like, so you like to play Super Mario Sunshine? And as a kid, I was like, what the fuck? Because he read your memory card. That scared the shit out of me as a kid. I didn't know what to do. Because I have a trick for you. Lay your controller down on the floor as flat as you can. And I'm like, okay. And then it cuts to Snake, who looks into the camera and goes, and nods at you, and I'm like, My mom was watching me play this game because she was really impressed with the GameCube and like a lot of the games. She's like, what are you playing? I'm like, this game. So there was a part of the game where she's like, well, how violent is it? She's like, oh, okay, you're just shooting bad guys, whatever. So it was that part. She was laughing her tits off at this when like I put the controller down and it started vibrating because he's like, I'm gonna move your controller, and it just vibrates. I was like, fuck sakes. Like it was so stupid. Oh man. And then blackout, and you gotta quickly go to port 2. So, what? I cannot read you. And I'm like, what a fucking cool boss.
Yeah,
it was so cool.
It was. I don't think there's actually been a boss that I can think of that has done anything like that. That was interactive like that.
No, he was very well. In later titles, it does get to that point. But it's more with the soldiers themselves. They interact with you more. Like the AI is much smarter. So he was good. Then you got Vulcan Raven, who is an indigenous man, who is ginormous.
Yep.
Who the way to beat him is you just put down claymores and you just run around the circle.
Yep. I actually Vulcan is at the bottom for me because I just remember just like the
cheese.
Oh yeah, I hated that.
You put down claymores and you just hear him ka-choo, ka-choo, as he gets hit. He does the Kelsey Grammer, and you just run somewhere else and put down another mine. Like, Oh,
And also, I just didn't like. I felt like his story wasn't really that
No.
good, like compared to Sniper Wolf and especially Psycho Mantis. But yeah,
And then Gray Fox was a boss.
the Gray Fox, yes, he was. The first cyborg ninja that you get introduced to.
It's in the series, yes. And we'll talk about that. The hallway scene in the Twin Snakes, I think, was the best. Like when I think of there's 2 hallway scenes, maybe 3 that I love in all media. One for third place is the Daredevil hallway scene that was on Netflix. 2 is the hallway scene from the Japanese release of Old Boy, and 3, number 1, is the hallway scene from Metal Gear Solid in the Twin Snakes when Gray Fox, the cyborg ninja, just murders those genome soldiers like nobody's business. And that was the coolest shit ever, because then you go into the hallway and it's just a bunch of dead soldiers, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta fight him. That's gonna be a hard fight. And then it's actually this easy.
Yeah.
Like, just don't use your gun. That's it. Like,
And I wasn't sure if you're going to like dip back into Metal Gear, the SNES, but he was originally known as Frank Yeager. He was a friend. He was comrades with Snake, and he also had loyalty and ties to Big Boss, and then that caused an interaction, let's say, between Snake and Frank during that time on Zanzibar.
He shot him off a cliff. He throws him off a cliff in Zanzibar land, I believe.
Yeah.
And then Frank Yeager is repaired by Naomi, who is a doctor, and she gives him the first cyborg enhanced body, which is basically the only thing that's left over, I think, is like his face and his brain cortex and his spine. That's it. Because he was so damaged from the fall or whatever, they couldn't do much for him. So they just rebuilt him from the ground up.
Mind you, this was the early 90s, canonically in the game, so they have cyborg technology to fuck if they have Metal Gears, they make a fucking cyborg nigga.
100%. It's easy to lampshade and go, yeah, fuck it, like, you know.
I said cyborg nigga instead ninja.
Whatever, it's your stream. Like, you're safe, you're good.
But I didn't mean to say that, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you guys that get easily pissed.
That's right. So, like, he's interesting. Then you meet Huey, Hal Emmerich. Not Huey, sorry. You meet Hal Emmerich, Otacon, because Huey's an asshole. So you meet Otacon, and Otacon is just this big, this is just like one of my Japanese animes. It's just like, fuck me. He pees his pants multiple times.
It is Otacon, it is.
It is just fucking ridiculous. But Hal is like your tech guy. Otacon becomes like Snake's kind of best friend, which is sad. Through the rest of the series.
I mean, Otacon in general has a very sad backstory.
Like, very sad backstory. His father was the one that invented like the nuclear bombs because he was part of the Manhattan Project. So it's like Otacon is just like a fucking loser. No one likes him. What else? You go through. There's the key card where you have to make it super hot, then super cold, and do bullshit like that.
You then remind me of that shit. Early video games were like problematic with that shit, where just like the key card situation. Oh, you gotta get this colored key card, but Metal Gear took it to a whole new level of just like, no, you gotta go to this room to make it a certain temperature. I was just like, how does that even make fucking sense? Are you telling me
it's really cold? Stand in the cold. Like,
it's because you're in the cold.
Gotta make it really warm. Then you gotta run all the way through all the maps. Danny, what did you think about that nonsense, the key card shit back in the day?
Why can't you just like, if you want to make it warm, just rub it between your hands and call it, the friction will heat it up. If you're in a room hot enough to make a key card hot, that's too hot for you.
Gotta stand in the lava room.
I played a lot of like Legend of Zelda and Resident Evil back then.
So that was okay. You're like, yeah, okay, this is par for the course.
It was annoying, but yeah, it was more like par for the course for me. I was like, okay, cool, puzzles, but also
this sucks.
Yeah, really it was only the running because it took so long.
Oh. And then to load on like the GameCube and shit, where sometimes if your disc was not the greatest, it would take to load.
Mine was PS1.
Oh yeah, that was even worse. Yeah. No, it was bad. Fuck, what else? So after that debacle, you fight, the last couple of bosses you fight Metal Gear Rex, which is a big bipedal robot. You shoot it with you fight a helicopter. You fight the Hind D, which is really dumb.
You fight a helicopter.
You fight a helicopter. Yeah. It's a Hind D. And then you shoot it with Stinger missiles, it blows up. You fight,
who'd have thought?
You fight the bipedal robot Metal Gear. Frank Yeager shows up and helps you, sacrifices himself, dies in the coolest fucking way possible by being stepped on by that thing. But he has an exoskeleton, so like it takes forever to actually crush him. I thought that was really fucking cool. So he dies. So Snake's like, oh fuck. So he kills the Metal Gear. And then you fight on its corpse. Liquid Snake brings you up and goes, brother! And you have this big dumb fight because he talks about genes, and he talks about recessive genes and genes that are like good. So he's like, I'm the one that has all of our father, Big Boss's great genes. I am the best snake there is. And then you have all the recessive genes. And so it gets to the point where you beat the living shit out of him. And then you go to escape Shadow Moses Island, and then he's chasing you on a fucking... he's chasing you on a rig with a gun. You shoot him. Either at this point in the game, it's either Meryl or Otacon that's with you, who's driving the car as you're shooting at him. And then you get out of there, and then Liquid Snake succumbs to Fox Die and just passes away. And then the game ends with you going, wow, love can blossom on the battlefield if Meryl's here. Or wow,
And
Otacon's my best friend.
Ocelot is looking at Liquid's arm like, that's a sexy arm you got there, buddy.
Fucking Ocelot. Revolver Ocelot is a Western cowboy 6-shooter fucking crazy person who loves guns sexually. Russian. Adamska. We're gonna get into that though later. There's a lot of we're gonna get into that later because it's explained in later games.
There's a lot of let's just
Oh.
say creative retconning to certain characters that happens in the series.
I really liked the Revolver Ocelot fight, I think, and because it was really fun to fight him, where you have to take cover and then shoot him, but he could shoot around corners, so you had to be aware of like how he ricocheted bullets. I thought that was a really cool fight. And then the whatever DARPA chief or the president was like attached to the C4, so you couldn't walk directly through, otherwise you'd blow everything up. That was actually really fun. I liked that. It was a very fun fight. But him as a character is super weird. But yeah, I'm going to go and cut off that arm and attach it to me and then hypnotize myself into believing I'm actually him. We're going to talk about that in the fourth game.
You know what?
Like,
wrapping up Metal Gear Solid and just in general, I felt like there's like a lot of good stuff in there. But then like when you go back and look at it, it's just like there's a lot of dumb stuff in there. Like for one, even if somebody is considered as like a super soldier, cloning them would not like their genes. Like being a soldier it's taught. It's not like something that is just like your genes will make. Sure, like if he's athletic or like has like a structural build of like someone who is athletic, sure, but it's just like it doesn't like affect how good of a soldier they are. But in Metal Gear they do.
Yeah, apparently. So that's Metal Gear 1, Metal Gear Solid 1. The second game, Metal Gear Solid 2, is divided into two parts. So this is where the game starts to go A side, B side for stories. You get a small little intro, and then you have the actual game. So the small intro at first is Snake and Otacon are running jobs to try and figure, like on their own, with like PMCs and military companies they work on behalf of the American government, the CIA, to find out, okay, what's going on with these certain things. So the first part is Tanker, second part is Big Shell. You play as both Snake and Raiden in this game. Snake is infiltrating the tanker to try and find out, oh, okay, I gotta get information. And this is a pure stealth mission because this is the US Marines. That if they see you, cover's blown, you're done. You cannot be seen. So it's something where you have to go. You cannot kill them either. Not allowed because it's the US. We're on national soil or whatever. So you're going through and getting pictures of a Metal Gear Ray and going through this tanker, trying to get pictures of this like sea-based Metal Gear fucking thing. And you're like, all right, cool. So you're getting pictures of it and collecting data and opening lockers and finding pictures of Hitomi Tanaka and putting guys into the porn picture lockers and throwing down magazines that they'll look at them and they go, ooh, and they get all excited and you just knock them out, throw them in a locker. Very, very mature game for sure. So
I hated
at the end
that
of it,
part
it was
of
so
that
good.
game.
That was the hardest part of the game.
The beginning of it, like, because I was so used to like, oh, okay, it's okay to kill the bad guys. You
Can't
kill
kill
them.
these guys.
You fail.
They're American soldiers. We are on home
So
playing
it says
ground.
they're
Cannot do
American
it.
soldiers. I'm like, okay, so then allies. I don't need to sneak, and then I try to sneak,
Then-
or I just walk through. Snake, snake.
And then all the Americans Marines just turn around and then the lecture. You're like,
Oh yeah.
Right.
like what?
I hated that moment because it's just like you don't know the field of view of like those soldiers, so it's just like you're trying to like properly sneak around, and the camera angles aren't good.
They're not good
for
No,
that particular moment, because it's just like you can't. There's a lot of blind spots. Let's just say. Also, there's a moment where you have to fight a girl with hairy armpits.
Yep.
And she's also was pregnant.
Yep. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and you kill her, or you don't kill her. I forgot what happens, cause.
Is that the one that has the magnetic field? Misfortune was her name.
Oh, what the fuck was her name? Shit.
I know that there's an underwater stealth escort mission.
No, well, no. This was pre-Raiden. This was Snake versus that.
Oh
lady.
yeah.
Fuck, what's her name?
It's some lady. You got to beat her up. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Tanker. I just kind of put out of my mind because it was a really fucking hard part of the game. After that, the game gets incrementally better because you can actually go around. You can actually like beat up people. You can secure weapons on site and do stuff, and it's a lot more fun.
Hot take. Metal Gear Solid 2 is better than 1, I think.
Absolutely, it's better than 1, hands down. It's amazing.
I like what they're
saying.
Yeah. And also, like, I feel like Raiden was an interesting character over what they were doing.
He was developed so well, and it was amazing what they did with him. And like even after that, and like his roles in the other games to come were great.
Yeah.
He was perfect. Like I think so. Tanker is very hard, but at the end of Tanker, Liquid Ocelot shows up. Liquid Ocelot shows up and goes, brother, and you're like, that's Ocelot, and he goes like this, and from his elbow to here,
that's my brother's arm,
skin toned. Yeah. And he goes, Liquid, like, and he goes, haha, I'm your brother for some reason, and you're like, this is weird, and they don't explain it, and then it cuts to Big Shell, and they don't explain it for 3 fucking games. It comes back to it later, but we'll get into that. So it cuts to Big Shell, and then you're infiltrating, and I'm like, oh cool, we're playing a Snake, and I'm like, that's a very voluptuous ass on Snake. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Like, you know, and then he pulls off the mask, and he goes, nah, and his like Meg Ryan hair shows up, and we're like, who's this guy? And he's like, Colonel, I'm in. And I'm like, oh no, because Jack, the guy that did the voice acting for Jack, was good, but they were like, hey, you're gonna read like you are Snake, but you're not. So can you do that? That was the direction he was given. He's like, all right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
And like Raiden's whole thing is like, you need to stop the terrorists on Big Shell, which this is a because he was just trained with virtual reality sims on other things, so it's implied that Tanker was a virtual reality sim in order for him to understand what's going on with Metal Gear Ray and all these things. So he was really the one in control for the Tanker portion of the game, because they're talking about VR and how people are trained.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. We're gonna get into it in the 4th one.
The memes, Jack, and also fuck Jack, Rosemary for gaslighting you. Like all of her codecs are her gaslighting you about your relationship. Like I can't stand her. Like she, like I was I'll openly ignoring her codecs.
Yep. Jack's wife sucks. So Jack fights the bosses, which are a bisexual vampire, a guy on roller skates with bombs, fat man, a woman who cannot be shot and is crazy. Who else?
You lost me on roller skate, man. That just like popped an image in my head, and I was like, holy shit. I hate
laughing girl fat, and he throws fucking C4 at you.
Yeah.
So there's that. Misfortune. Fuck. I'm just gonna look up the bosses. Hold on. MGS2. Bosses.
There's also the leader of the organization. You wanna, Mr. President?
Yeah, Vamp, Fat Man, the Gerlukovich mercenaries, Olga Gerlukovich, Metal Gear Ray Unmanned, and then President George Sears, who is the most right person in any media ever, because what he wanted happens at the end of the 4th game. Because that's what he was trying to do, and it was genius. George Sears, otherwise known as Solidus Snake. There's a lot. There's
the 3rd clone.
The 3rd clone. He's the 3rd clone of them that has both
AKA
recessive.
Les enfants terribles.
Terrible. Yeah.
Why is it French? Why is nobody in Big Boss is not French?
Because
why did they give him that nickname?
It's stupid.
Were they cloned in France? Like what?
It's never explained.
Kojima just likes certain things
he
puts it in there, and it's just like, who gave that code name? Were they in France when they did that?
Yeah, it's great. He also loves monkeys that drink energy drinks. Anyway, so the 2's whole story, to boil it down, is Government control is bad, and government control is something that we have because of television and because of their influence on us in media. The Patriots is a shadow organization of the government that basically controls everything we say or do or think, and all the military is controlled by them, and all the other things are controlled by them. And the President of the United States, George Sears, otherwise known as Solid Snake, is like, no, we have to stop this by mounting an attack on blah, blah, blah. And Raiden ends up fighting him and beating him at the end and realizing I need to fight for my own ideals, not for what the government tells me. There's a point in the game where it gets real fucky and you're running around naked doing cartwheels with no hands on the ground. And like you're getting codec calls from everyone and it's the weirdest fucking shit in the world. And I think that was explained as like either A, you're in a simulation of what's going on, right? Or B, like it's just like everything's getting fucked up kind of thing, right? That whole game has you question a lot of what is real and what is not real. And it's I think it was very well done in the way that it was written for that.
Yeah, because you see the memes, like you're just being programmed into believing that like this is a certain thing. Which honestly, low key, George Sears is spitting, like like about military propaganda and like how much of a control that has on specifically Western media, and like how like Kojima's take is like really Western centric, which is surprising.
It's
like,
really good.
I am not sure like how like Japanese media portrays like military, but like even in America, like or like especially in America, like it's going to get a little bit controversial here, but like military is like portrayed as like the end all be all power. They have a lot of respect, even though they have done some very questionable things, and like it's just like a very interesting take, especially for someone who's like a Japanese native, like that was able to nailed it super hard, especially when it comes to like American like
perfect.
American like politics, especially when it comes to like military and military propaganda. Hell, remember I want to say like this was last year when on Twitch they were like doing like a controller giveaway, like the U.S. military was just like, hey, sign up in the fucking draft and you get a fucking custom military Xbox controller.
They have it right now where like the student debt that's being released or relieved, one of the fucking senators, one of the Republican senators is like, well, you can't do that because if you relieve student debt, then that makes it hard for us to recruit kids in the military. And I'm like, did you just say the fucking out loud part? Like, what the fuck, dude? It was crazy. I was like, bro, like, just the veil is gone. Like the world it's horrible, right? And I think Metal Gear Solid 2 really hit the nail on the head with Western military civilization of how the military industrial complex is fucking horrible. It's nuts. And that's when like in like Snake, who shows up as Snake Plissken, which I was like, what did you just watch Escape to New York? Fuck you, Kojima. Next you're gonna tell me he gets an eye patch. He does. Like, you know, but it's ridiculous. So 2 is like the bosses for me in that were ultimately forgettable. There's a point in which you have to save Otacon's sister from Vamp, who is a bisexual vampire man, and you have to swim underwater with her, and like she holds her breath and holds onto Raiden's back, and you have to be stealthy at the same time. So it is a timed stealth underwater escort mission. It's the worst mission in the game. I fucking hate it. Oh, you know?
But I much more prefer the story of 2 overall. Just generally for the fact that it was a lot grounded.
The story was very grounded and it was very well done. The gameplay in 2 was like similar to 1. Like Twin Snakes in 2, like it was very similar for me going from Twin Snakes to 2. I'm like, okay, it's the same, right? And then 3 was where it kind of got better as far as gameplay goes, but the story started to it was weird.
That's where the creative retconning comes in.
Yeah, so many things. So before we move on to 3, Danny, what were your thoughts on 2 as a whole? As far as like, what do you think for MGS 2?
2, the story was a lot better than 1 in my opinion. Like the whole government aspect of it, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Like,
damn.
I live in America. Like, yeah.
We live in a society.
Yeah, we live in a society. And he hit it right on the head. And I was like,
even like me as a Canadian, like same thing. We have a similar style for Western.
Oh, yeah, we're neighbors.
we're neighbors. The Canadian forces are very much the same. Like, you know, you guys will have a Little Caesars in the mall and a fucking recruiter will be there. Same, totally same. We'll have a Little Caesars in the mall and the Canadian forces recruiter will be fucking there. And it's like, hey man, you want to change your life? It's just like, yeah, I don't want to do pizza no more. And then they go off into some.
Yeah, they literally come to our schools to recruit. Like there was literally a day where they're posted up. Like I feel like 4 times a year they're always there posted up, being like, hey.
We didn't have
you look like an underachiever. Want to die for us overseas?
Yeah, literally. We didn't have that as much, but we did have like more. Like we had career day. We had people from the forces come in, but it was through cadets. So it was like, you know, like here's like military light, like, you know, and then from that, if you had like most of the people that I know that are in the military either came from a military background or hello, finger of Danny's girl.
No,
whoever
that's
that was.
Revan.
Hello, finger of Danny's girl. Revan's hand, everybody. But like the military industrial complex for Metal Gear Solid 2 is amazing, and it just hit a nail on the head. So
let's get on to 3, and 3. I guess we can combine Peace Walker in there with that. I didn't play Peace Walker. It was kind of like...
I did. Peace Walker, really quick about Peace Walker, nukes are bad. Anyway, on to 3. So 3 is you play as Big Boss is who you are. You're Big Boss. So you start the game as Snake. You're Big Boss. Pearl from SpongeBob is known as the boss. It's the same voice actress. I forget her name. I apologize. So what happens is this is back in the Cold War when threats of nuclear tension are rising, and you're in like the Russian wilderness. So you show up for the first mission to retrieve a scientist known as Sokolov, who is developing plans for nuclear whatever. Cool. So they halo drop you in, and this game adds in, okay, you might need to find things to survive in the wild. So you have to kill animals to eat snakes and shit. And you also have to use medical to, like, if you get shot and a bullet gets stuck in you, you have to be able to do field medication on you and stuff like that.
Call it Snake Eater because you're going to be eating snakes the majority of this game.
Yeah, it was very well done for gameplay. It's very addicting to, like, that was the most technology it was until 4 and 5. But like you could sit there and like lure dudes, you could throw down shit, you could throw like animals at them. Like I full on throwing snakes at people from trees was fucking hilarious. You know, you could lure dudes into crocodiles, you could shoot dudes in many different ways and kill them in many different ways, you could have buzzards eat them, all this other stuff. Hilarious. This is the game where the writing goes pants on head regal, and it's completely out there. And I said regal because the other word is verboten. So basically, it's just dumb. Like, a lot of the writing is like, okay, nukes are bad. Yeah, we got that from the first game. But also, you have to... The mission turns from you rescuing Sokolov to your boss, your commander, your CEO, the boss, defects to the Russian military because what happens is... Metal Gear Solid, not Metal Gear Solid, what's the game? Mortal Kombat's Raiden, known as Vulcan, picks up a fucking nuke and shoots it across the border, starting an international incident. So the boss goes, shit, I guess I have to stay because those are military products, and I'm gonna have to stay here. My life is fucked. So she leaves, you get beaten up by her, or your arm broken, all this other stuff. You meet the boss's team. Do we want to talk about the boss's team really quick, Yanni, of the fucking super soldiers that are with them?
There's a bee man.
There's Wicker Man.
There's a guy, if you just leave your PlayStation on, he dies.
Yeah, there's Old Man, there's Spider-Man, and then there's Not Man, Ghost Man, and then there's Rocket Man.
Yeah.
Rocket Man.
Kojima does this thing where the names are literally what they do.
Yep.
Like,
it's great. Pain.
And he is very clever. Yeah, he's pain. He's constantly in pain.
Bees.
Probably because of the bees.
Yeah.
But like it's just like we
Tommy gun.
We say this man is like Kojima's a genius, but granted he does speak Japanese, so these English words are like foreign to him literally. So it's well thought up to him, but like to us it's just like, Rocket Man. Let me guess, he shoots rockets, right? That's exactly what he does, son.
That's
exactly
what he does.
What is the Fury? Angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have
the boss. She's the boss.
She's the boss.
He's
The Joy
big boss
actually was
because
her name.
he's the successor, and he's
Exactly.
now the big boss.
No, it's at the end of the game. We're jumping ahead, but like you have destroyed the boss. We now give you the highest granted military rank that is ours to give, big boss. And I fucking
And honestly, low-key kind of sexist. The boss should have been big boss. How come there's this new military rank when Naked Snake becomes the boss? It's just like, oh, we can't have you have the same title as a woman. You have to be big boss. And
So
Naked Snake is like, yeah, I like the sound of that.
Well, then the
And also
president
we took your
offers his hand
DNA and
Snake
cloning
just
you.
stares at him.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, it's so funny.
Yeah.
I love that shit the most. So you fight her old team. So she was the Joy back in the day when she ran with the team. There is the pain, the fear, the fury, the sorrow, and the joy. 5 stages of emotional grief, which was kind of clever when you think about this. Because what happens is when the boss leaves you, right? You go through pain. You go through fear.
Ow, the bees.
You go through, you go through sorrow. You go through anger. And then you have joy at the end because you've come to.
Because you finally beat the game and you're done with the story.
Yeah, so that was kind of clever in a subtle way, but at the same time, it was very much in your face. It's like, come on, man. There's also Vulcan, Eva, who is Tits McGee on a motorcycle, whatever, babe. Like, there is putting on the mask of Raiden and punching people in the balls, then they salute you, which they brought back in 5, which was awesome. I love that. You could punch your own dudes and they salute you. Vulcan has that weird I'm gonna grab your dick moment, and then you go no, and he's like I'm gonna grab your dick with my other hand moment, and then you go no again, and then you fight him because he knows you're not the guy, because the real colonel or soldier lieutenant loves his dick getting grabbed by me. I don't know why you don't let me do it. So that was super weird but funny at the same time. This was a game that pioneered camouflage, so you actually had to put on camo for the area that you were in, and at first you're like, oh, that's really cool. But then most areas have a lot of different things you can camouflage yourself as, to which it becomes, oh fuck, I have to keep opening this fucking menu every time to get the best camo to make it so I won't be seen. Or you just put on a crocodile head and go shirtless and run around punching people with the American
flag. Or because
flag
you're fucking American, you put on the American face paint and shout America as you roll into these commie scumbags.
There's this dude who basically did a run through on European Extreme called Doc Croc, where you're not allowed to kill anybody, and he ran around with the alligator head, American face paint, and a fucking the tranquilizer gun, and beat the game on European Extreme. Which European
Florida
Extreme,
man.
Crazy. European Extreme is you cannot be seen, you are not allowed to kill anyone, you have to stealth, you have to like whatever kill everybody, bosses included, and like you're basically dead in one shot if they shoot you. But it doesn't matter because if they see you, the game's over. So he beat it with a crocodile on his face, no shirt, and the American face paint. So we salute Doc Croc. It's amazing. Like Danny's like, I don't know how he did it. Neither do I. That's fucking nuts.
I don't.
So there's a lot of camo you can use in the game. The bosses are interesting, if not a little boring. The end is really dumb. That's supposed to be a super cool whatever sniper fight, but there's 2 ways you can beat him. One is early on in the game, you can pick up a sniper and shoot him in the head when he's in after a cutscene and he dies. 2, you get to his boss fight and you take your system and turn the clock forward 2 weeks and he dies. So he dies of old age.
Yep.
Yeah. I think this is the game where it was technologically a marvel, but the story was absolutely stupid.
Dog water.
Yeah, it's because of the...
Especially coming from 2.
It's because of
really
like
good.
the retconning and like the sort of like... Also, we never got resolution like that Big Boss was a bad guy towards the end. Because I thought like they would like sort of like hint to like why he's like sort of like positioned as the bad guy at the end of Metal Gear Solid 3. But we never really got that.
It's in Peace Walker, but it's not even explained in Peace Walker. Basically, Peace Walker is you have your own private army. You meet Kaz Miller, Master Miller. You guys start up what's called Outer Heaven, and you become like this global powerhouse that starts stockpiling nukes. And then that's where it's like, ooh, what's going to happen next? But then you go to game 5, but we're talking about game 4 now. So instead of 5, we're going to 4. Because what happened to Solid Snake? He's really fucking old.
You would think that there's probably like a 30-year time skip. No,
nope.
He's apparently
just old.
The Fox die just makes you fucking old.
That because it fucks up with his genes from the boss. Because what they did, they're like, oh, because you're the incubant for it, you've aged rapidly. And the first shot you see is him sporting a fucking comb mustache, and he's old as shit. And it's like, oh, hello. And it's the thing where your age will affect you in the game too. So if you're hunched over crouched for too long, he'll groan and hit his back to get the kinks out, and that will alert enemies. If you cough when you smoke too much, you'll cough and alert enemies. Again, 4 is another one of those games where it's a technological masterpiece because of how wonderful and how many things you can do and the takedowns you can do. But the story is fucking dog water again. Like it's not really good. So let's nutshell this game. You're old Snake. Yes. You have to go to Afghanistan you have to go to different locales. There's Afghanistan, there's the Congo, there's London, which is weird because I was hoping you get sneak around London. Nope. And then you go to the final place, which is near where old Big Boss was. So essentially the game starts, you're hired back. Snake does a monologue about how war has changed.
But not really though, because Fallout said war hasn't changed though.
Right, but he was speaking apart how this is going directly from 2, like 2 to 4 is this how the sequel kind of works. You know what I mean?
ID tag guns
with ID tagged soldiers and ID tagged vehicles, and he goes off on his like smoky. And props to David Hayter for fucking killing his throat for this role because they're like, you're really old now. He's like, all right, I'm gonna smoke and drink a lot more so I sound like shit. And he had to go in for like a fucking whatever repair for his vocal cords because he basically killed himself doing it. It was nuts. He just went the extra mile and delivered such good lines. Like he was basically dying every day.
Oh, but this did take place in the future. The futuristic time of 2014.
Yeah. So good. It's so stupid. So you as Snake, you show up to a battlefield in Afghanistan. You start going because you're investigating. Oh, hey, we think that there's some issues with something because he's still doing mercenary work. Because fucking why not? That's all I know what to do. That's how I make my money. So you go through and you're like fighting dudes. You meet up with this gun dude who sells guns called Drebin, who I think is the craziest character in the whole series. But I loved him. I loved every second of him because he was just so weird. He's like, I'm a merchant of death. You call me and I'll show up. And there'd be certain areas you could like see him and he would sell you upgrades and shit. So what happens is if you beat up a soldier, you could take their guns and then you could like unlock the guns because they were ID tagged to those soldiers, so you could then use them. And it gave you really good gun customization, I found. Actually, that was the first game that started to give you, here's how your guns can be customized to do fucking whatever. It follows the same plot line for bosses. Like you have like an end game boss for certain areas, but Snake fights off the beauties as they were. They're 4 beautiful women in skin tight spandex suits. One is called Laughing Octopus, another was called Raging Raven, another is Crying Wolf, and then the 4th one is like Psycho Mantis's kid, Puppet Mantis or some I don't know, something stupid. So yeah, you fight those. The story is weird, but it's very much like 2. Because it kind of goes off of the George Sears thing and like, okay, well, this is what's happening. And it becomes this isolated incident of Snake investigating something in the Middle East too. Oh, we actually have to take down the government world order so people can be free again. And then Big Boss comes out of hiding with like the person who's running the Patriots and then kills him. So the Patriots is now done or some shit. And that was the whole thing. It was Big Boss organizing shadow movements for like all the young people plus Snake to take down this government order, and it's been the thing in the making for the past 40 years or some shit.
Yeah, and also something to do with like Big Boss's DNA, and it needs like it's used to unlock the weapons, and it's just like how and why because his DNA specific.
Yeah, do you want to know how?
How, Danny?
They gotta turn off your camera. The thing that you did when you turned off your camera, you know what I mean?
Oh, do you want to know how? Hold on.
Yep. How I'm
That's
getting.
How it works. I did it.
I'm getting some of my. I'm getting some of my genes out.
Oh, getting some of my genes out.
Yep.
So stupid. Like well, Yanni, what do you think about Metal Gear Solid 4?
I think Metal Gear Solid 4 is weird, and like there's parts of it that I didn't like, because
I know 3.
mostly because I felt like 3 should have been like an in between story between 2 and 4, because I felt like a lot of stuff has happened in between 2 and 3 or 2 and 4 where just like we just gotta go with it. Like Raiden's a robot now.
Yes.
Why did we not get like any like indication about like how that happened? It's just told to us via codec of like why how and this happened.
Why is he a cyborg? Well, he rescued this girl who's a super genius from the Patriots. And what happened? His body was shot down beyond repair.
And
so now
this
he's
is
a robot.
also when Kojima starts getting into his like what I like to call like sort of like monologue bag, where characters will have conversation about eggs that make no fucking sense. And it's just like, oh, you're trying to be artsy here, and like it's just not working because I don't know if it's because of like the concept, the writing, because it's like initially Japanese translated to English. Like is there a cultural difference here? But like the monologues don't really hit. Like sometimes he will like do like metaphors and stuff to certain things. It just like it just comes off as like a very long and showy scene about really not much.
This is also when Kojima started going, I have real actors as friends arc. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, dude, like fucking, okay, so you actually want to make Hollywood movies? Great, make one. And he never does. And it's like, all right. Like, just like,
if he did, it would make people would hate it.
It would make no money. They wouldn't like it.
I mean, the Metal Gear stands would, and the Death Stranding stands will love it, but like the story, I believe the Kojima's genius comes from the gameplay. As much as like some gameplay I just really don't enjoy, but the nuance that he brings to these mechanics are what carries these games.
Sure.
And you can see that with people's criticism towards Metal Gear Rising. Metal Gear Rising's story is just as wacky and goofy as all
the
gameplay's
amazing.
Yeah, but the problem is the gameplay is amazing, but it's not nuanced. It's a character action game. There's Bayonetta, there's Devil May Cry, there's other character action games. It's not breaking the mold in any way. Kojima's games broke the mold, especially for the time they came out. So I believe the reason why people gave harsh criticism towards Rising is because it also had the goofy story alongside with gameplay that is a dime a dozen. There's Devil May Cry. There's all the other character action games.
I think the big thing with that was like the coolest tech was you could cut anything and you'd cut through like doors and windows, and like it was cool that like the loop or the specific mechanic they had was called Zandatsu, where you would cut through someone and take their whatever juices and go and like heal yourself. That was neat. If you didn't play the Metal Gear series, you would have no idea what the fuck's going on. And I think that was the biggest failing. It didn't stand up on its own. It was like, okay, you can do an isolated story about Raiden, but it's like you're going to start saying Patriots and Lale Lule Lo, which makes no fucking sense until it's explained. When you do Lale Lule Lo, those are the chemicals for something that works out to be the Patriots. Rat Pack 01 is actually it's so stupid. Like a lot of the writing gets to the point where you're like, that makes no fucking sense. Like Meryl leads a team. This is another thing people hated. Johnny in the game, people fucking hated for like millions of reasons. Shitboy. They were trying to set him up to be the next Solid Snake, which was fucking hilarious. And I wish they hadn't done it because I would have. Oh man, because Johnny, Shitboy,
he's big boss, recessive genes.
He's like, big boss.
That's why he shits a lot. That's why he shits a lot because there's a fuck up. There's a fuck up with DNA.
Well, what happens with his DNA later, though, specifically with it, is like Shitboy turns into become like all of his nanomachines, and like they describe nanomachines as like, he's never really been part of the group. Like everyone else knows how to like do everything because all of our stuff works. His specific DNA for Big Boss, because he had it as part of the program, he is part of the Les Enfants Terribles program for some fucking reason. I don't know why. Like, but then he at the end of the game. He at the end of the game starts becoming this super action badass, and they're like, why are you like this? He's like, well, like the medication that you guys gave us to take the nanomachines, I didn't like the flavor. I started taking it. And it's like, you idiot, you fucking stupid moron. Why wouldn't you take this? Like, that's literally the Team 4-star. Oh, is it grape flavored? Like, fuck. It was so dumb. He could have saved their fucking team so much problems by doing that, but because he didn't take it, he was able to get on and save Meryl because something to do with the timeline where the Patriots started locking them down in their nanomachines, but because he did his shit after, it didn't affect him, so he was free to use whatever gun and whatever thing he wanted, But then again, they didn't explain that well in the story, which was a pain in the ass.
And also, what is this a metaphor for? Like the
Nothing.
nanomachines and like this is not it's not a commentary on anything. Like it's just future. It's just like future shit. It's just like nanomachines. Just nanomachines is guys.
Just nanomachines.
You gotta be scared of nanomachines. Like first it was like nuclear warfare, now it's nanomachines. They're so small you can't see them. That's why it makes them so scary.
I think Kojima read a manga series called Ikigami, which is in which the Japanese government, to stem population control, inject their children at age 11 with a thing in their body. It's a bloodstream. It's like a random draw where this thing will basically explode in the heart once they reach between the ages 18 to 21. And if you get past 21, you're safe. Like it's something where like you will not die. But this is a thing that is timed that in 10 years, it kills your heart. It just kills your whole coronary system. So the thing with Ikigami is it's a nanomachine that's specifically programmed to kill people. It's a great story. You should read it. It involves this dude who is what's called the death certificate guy. So he shows up and he goes, here's your Ikigami, and it's your fucking certificate of you're gonna die. And they tell you specifically when you're gonna die. It's to the second. You're gonna die tomorrow at this time, and they usually give you this death certificate within like 48 hours. So the story ranges from like people going fucking crazy, people going, oh, cool, and just like preparing their life for the rest of, okay, I got a couple days to die, cool, whatever. But it's a lot of the times it's people becoming completely unhinged and doing crazy unhinged shit for 48 hours, which is way worse than like whatever. So it's one of those things where if you all, because like there's a spinner group that's trying to speak out against the Ikigami, and this is a whole different sidebar, but basically nanomachines are bad. And I think Kojima read this fucking story and then was like, that's really cool. I'm going to put that into my story. And I was like, all right. And it worked okay, I guess. But at the same time, it was like, I don't know. I don't want to call Kojima a hack, but I think his writing has a lot to leave desired for a lot of his newer games.
It's the same criticism that like I don't know why Kojima is like sort of like his work is kind of like separated from this, but Kingdom Hearts is highly scrutinized for its convoluted, dumb story. Yep. But at the same time, Metal Gear Solid exists. Like I want to say 1 and 2 are like godlike games when it comes to story, gameplay, and whatever. But as the further it gets along in the series, the gameplay the gameplay gets better. And like Metal Gear Solid 3 is probably one of the best games ever.
100%.
But story-wise, it starts getting convoluted and retconning certain shit because it's trying to make up for certain events that like it transpired in other games. Because it needed to explain like how did Big Boss get from like the beginning of Metal Gear Solid from like Metal Gear Solid 3. It also has to explain like the fucking clones. That's what the Enfant Terrible. That's who they are.
Leading us to 5, the end of 4. Snake puts a gun in his mouth and he's going to kill himself because his job is done. And then Big Boss shows up and gives him a CQC hug because reasons, and goes, "Hey, you don't need to kill yourself. We're going to stop it." And he kills Zero, who is Patriots, whatever, because reasons, brain power. And then Big Boss goes, "I'm sorry, I wasn't present." Blah blah blah. And I'm like, wow, he's a good guy. Cut to 5. Big Boss, canonically in the universe, used and propagated child soldiers and all these other things. So Big Boss is bad. We're like, in 5, we get to see the downfall of Big Boss. So it was split into, again, an A side, B side. You had Ground Zeroes, and then you had the Phantom Pain. So Ground Zeroes was where you went to go save Pudds, who is like this weird Colombian girl who is like a lot like Sunny. Like she has this brain that's just genius and she can program and do all these things. You go to save her from this group called XOF, which is Fox backwards. Fucking too deep for you writing, Kojima. I hated that. That pissed me off. Like, you know,
we're not Fox. We're
not Fox. We're XOF.
Upside down.
It's so dumb. I hated that so much. It pissed me off. I'm like, that's dumb. Fuck you. But the gameplay is beautiful, and it's using the Fox engine, and it's like the takedowns and the things you can do to fuck with people and the environment and everything is amazing. It's 10 out of 10 best gameplay you'll ever play. So you play in Ground Zeroes, and it's basically a sandbox, like a vertical slice of what the game is. You save Chico, who is a Spanish dude, who is like your other kid, who has like bolts in his legs, and he's a prisoner, POW. You save him, and you save Paz. Pudds has a snook in her sniz and blows up and dies. And a bunch of glass hits, Snake, and he gets stuff stuck in his head and yada yada yada. The problem with this
You thought you were playing as
is
Big Boss the entire time? You guess
you're
what?
not
You're
Big
wrong.
Boss. You're wrong. You're not Big Boss.
You're punished,
and the game
Snake.
actively fucks with you because there are a bunch of people in the helicopter. So there's yourself, Big Boss. There's Master Miller, and then there's a third unnamed dude who's helping you remove bombs from Paz's stomach and shit, right? The third unnamed dude is actually who you play as in Metal Gear Solid 5. He gets put into a coma for about the same time as Big Boss, who is played by David Hayter. Not David Hayter, sorry. Kiefer Sutherland this time around, because Kojima has movie star friends now. So you are hypnotized into... Oh, yeah, really quick, back to 4. Liquid Ocelot controls the Patriots, and there's a dumb scene of him going, I'm in control of the system. That's dumb. He dies at the end of the thing. He hypnotized himself. The same hypnosis that happens to him is used on you in Metal Gear Solid 5, in which they make you think that you are Big Boss. Ergo, the real Big Boss can be away from the Patriots and do shadow things, and has a cool leather jacket.
And also explains how Big Boss died in the Metal Gear series, but is still alive, and is just like that's how we get around it. That wasn't really Big Boss. That was Punished Snake. It's just like
there was Venom Snake. It was a random dude who served Mother Base. I like to think, because in Peace Walker, the first guy you get who is ultra strong is called Alligator. That's his code name. I like to think you're playing as Alligator, and he's the one that's just almost as good as Big Boss, because he's in like the main inner circle dudes. That's why they use him.
But why do you look like Big Boss though?
Because they gave him cosmetic surgery. So when you start the game in 5, you make your own character model, and what happens is they go, oh, you need to change your face because we need to hide you from your enemies because you are Big Boss. And what they do is they do a sneaky, because when you play through the mission again, it gives you the option to play through the first mission, but how it really happened. And what they do is it starts with you as your creative character, and that's like, we need to give you surgery. And then they show you look like Big Boss after, because they make you look like him. Yanni just went brain dead. He's not having a time with it. It's really...
So there's a lot of stuff in that game, like a skull face guy.
He worked in a sugar plantation, and the reason his face is fucked up is because when you're doing sugar cane and you're processing like burning sugar, it permanently scars your body. A bunch fell on his face. That's why he looks like a skull face.
He's not a cool character at all. He's not even a character, I would say, because we barely get to know about him. Unless you read those or listen to those tapes. No, they
don't even explain anything, really.
Yeah.
It's not... Remember Vulcan in 3? He's back because of Psycho Mantis, who is also apparently in this game as a young redheaded stepchild.
Yeah.
Who then animates Vulcan because he has a strong psychic connection.
Yep. That is cool. There's also a lady who is there. She needs to be naked because she breathes through her skin.
Quiet? Yeah. That's the dumbest fucking writing
There's a
ever.
scene in there that is just like, I'm not one of those people that are just like, objectification of women or whatever. It's just a weird scene that's just like, come on, Kojima, we know what you're doing. You know what you're doing.
Was she showering?
Yeah.
Yeah. She uses photosynthesis to feed herself, and she's showering like a bikini babe, and it's like, come on, man. You just wanted to put a bikini person in the thing. You just want to put a bikini sniper. Like, don't lie, just bikini sniper. And it's just like, here she is. And like, she was also the initial hitman to try and kill you at the beginning of the game. And then they explain that basically Fox Die, the precursor to Fox Die, is done through language, because at some point in the game, this is a game where like language is important. That's the meaning of this game for something. Like, you know how like language is really important, and we need to be able to speak to people and talk. Otherwise, oh no. So what happens is like, certain people, I think it's like when they get Afrikaans, or it's a language that's very rarely spoken, but it's a common one enough. Your soldiers, they start speaking it. Your soldiers start getting sick, and you have to go in and put them all down. You're unaffected because the piece of metal in your head has affected your language cortex and processing of your brain, so you don't understand any languages anymore. And I was like, well, that's weird. How am I supposed to do covert operations and interrogate people? Oh, we're gonna have an auto translator do it for you. I'm like, that What kind of technology are you having that they can hear exactly what they're saying in real time English translated to me? That's fucking nutty. But that's because they're like, we don't want to do voice acting.
And also, there's like confusing scenes of like you go around your base, and then Paz is just there for some reason.
Yep.
And it's just like, did you die or like what's going on here?
Because you're seeing her in your brain. It's weird.
And also, it's just like very weird because it's just like you built this attachment to this character who's not the person that you thought he was, and just like why though?
Yeah, and then they don't even go full ham. There was a scene in one of the trailers that was originally cut for MGS5. It shows a bunch of child soldiers locked up in a cave, and you see Big Boss lift up his AK and go bah, 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 and it just cuts and it goes MGS5, and I was like, are they gonna kill kids in a video game? Kojima, you don't have the balls to do that, do you? No, he shot the lock. You saved them. Also, part of those kids is young Liquid Snake. It's really stupid.
Yeah.
The game was also unfinished, and that's the problem. They wanted to do a lot more with the story. It was unfinished. So they kind of had to just crunch it down to what it was. So you're not even getting the full experience of what's happening.
Yeah, it's hard to say really, like, is the fault of Konami or Konami just not like letting
it's all Konami's fault.
Yeah, everything is Konami's fault, just in general.
That's right. Konami fucked it up.
Duel Links is fucked up because of Konami. And also Metal Gear Solid is also fucked up because of Konami. They didn't let them finish the story. I want to see what the finished product would actually have been. I don't think it could have been any better because, as I said, once you start going to the past and retconning shit or like further explaining shit, like I think that's where that can lead to grounds to fuck things up. They should just continue the story from the future with Metal Gear.
Yeah, and I think that would have been interesting because they could have easily taken, okay, you know what, fuck it, Johnny's the new protagonist. Hey, Johnny, what's your code name? And Meryl's your wife doing other operations. And Johnny's like, well, like Snake passed away. Like, I kind of want to honor him. Can I use the code name Snake? And then there's this whole thing of him taking on the mantle of Snake and doing similar whatever things. And then he uncovers a plot where they could, let's talk about coronavirus really quick. Oh no, there's a pathogen that's been released that's killing people. We have to stop this before it gets to a global scale. It's a bit close. I mean,
but Kojima already made his coronavirus video
in
game.
5.
It's called Death Stranding.
Yeah, it's Death Stranding. Yeah, that's his coronavirus. Fucking Death Stranding sucks. I'm sorry. It's not good. It is a very beautiful, technically impressive, great looking game. But it's like it's dumb.
It's what happens when you don't pull in the reins. Like, it's just pure id. It's pure Kojima's id, just ejaculated all over.
It's crazy. It's like, dude, you got to have some sort of a story.
Right.
There's a story. Look at Fragile. She's eating little penis monsters and going num 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 good bodysuit. But she's also like, I was in the rain and I'm old, but I'm not going to show you that, which is why you only see neck down. And here's
I want to see some old titties. Show me what she looked like underneath that suit.
Here's Mads Mikkelsen. Who's he?
Yeah.
He's
your father?
someone. He's your dad, I think.
Maybe.
But it's not clear. And then here's Guillermo del Toro, and there's a scene where BB the baby goes, "Bah, I've got Guillermo del Toro face." Here, Sam Bridges,
here goes
because
monster.
we're building bridges, is gonna kill the monster and then put it down. And you have to drink 3 to get maximum stamina.
If I drink 3 monsters, I will die. I can't even
have a heart attack.
I will literally die.
And that's the smaller one. He has like the big, stupid fucking Jolt Cola ones he's fucking killing.
He has the big daddy ones. The like, I need to cram for a test type monster energy.
Right.
And it's like, well, do you fight monsters in the game? No, you can shoot BTs with your pee and then they go away. Why? Because it's gross.
Why does Kojima love product placement? Because this product placement in Metal Gear Solid 4.
Oh yeah,
and isn't there
he did?
Yeah,
he wanted it to be Coca-Cola. You wanted him to,
and it was really funny. Dew.
Oh, Mountain Dew would have been great. The monkey with Drebin, where like Snake's always trying to give him cigarettes. I love that. That was my favorite. You want a cigarette? Because Snake doesn't give a shit. He would sooner shoot Drebin and his monkey and move along. Like, he has no redeeming qualities. The microwave hallway scene was amazing. I think that scene was the best. I think at the end of 4. crawling through the microwave hallway, like you're
Yeah.
walking through, then you're crawling through, and you're basically dying. And they're like, you can't go in there. That'd be suicide. And Snake is like, I'm dead anyway. What the fuck? Does it matter? Let me go in. I might as well try, right? Like shit. And then you fight Liquid Ocelot in like hand-to-hand Tekken combat, and it switches the combat through all of the 4 games up into that point where it plays all of the main themes from the games. I thought that was Kino as fuck. I was like, that's awesome. It was super sick.
But in all honesty, the Snake title should have been passed down to Raiden because he gets his own game called Metal Gear Rising,
and it's pretty good.
And yeah, just a little quick thing on Raiden or the Metal Gear Rising before we end this. It's a character action game. It's fun. It's fun to play. The story is batshit insane, but I actually really enjoy it. From what I've from what I've seen of the game, I really like it.
It's very nature versus nurture, and the key point in that is like, just because you are something doesn't mean you can't be something else. One of the main themes is like Senator Armstrong, who people love Senator Armstrong, but they love him for the wrong reasons. He is a very evil person. It's the same kind of problem like in The Boys, how Homelander is fucking crazy. And everyone's like, wow, Homelander is such a good character. He's evil. He's fucking evil. You're not supposed to identify with that. You can like Anthony Starr for being a nuanced character, but he's evil. Same thing with Senator Armstrong. Very evil. But he's funny as shit when he talks. I played American balls. He's kicking your ass up and down in Metal Gear.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So the argument was, the whole point of Armstrong is like, I want to put a world where the weak can inherit the strong and the strong will survive. Look at you. It worked for you. And Raiden's like, no, you fucking asshole. I was forced into abject poverty and I had to stab people for bread. That's not good. And Armstrong's trying to go, but that's fine because that's American. Because you got stronger and it worked.
By the bootstraps type personality, American elitism.
Like, and Raiden's like, you're an idiot. Oh, man. But
the falsities of meritocracy, and like it's honestly very it is very American centric. Another time when Kojima nailed it on the head where it comes to American elitism, where it's just like false advertising of survivor's bias, I should say. I suffered through this. I built myself up by the bootstraps, and then it's a complete falsity. Raiden points it out. Also, just like if you look at the foundation of the American structure, it was built on by other people's hard work and oh fuck, I can't think. I'm trying not to say slavery, but sacrifice. And it's just
sacrifice and hard work. 100%.
And it's just like the false nature of like American elitism, where they say all this builds character, do you go suffer through all this hard work builds character? And in reality, when it comes to American elitism, is mostly luck based, and it's not what you know, is who you know. Most people that succeed either have a very privileged background, or they know somebody who can help them get invest in whatever. And it's just like it's a very interesting to look at, because it nailed on the head most Republicans' outlook on how America should be versus what America actually is, where it's a lot of cooperation, people working with each other to build something better. It's not like I solely suffered, I worked hard, and now everything is right because of my hard work and stuff. No, it's like as I know I say slavery is collaboration, but it's a helping hand in like building up what America is today. Also, the other cultures that came to America.
The railroads get built. They took Chinese people and put them in the mountains and blew them up.
Yeah, I say collaboration, but I'll use that more in a modern sense. Modern society is built on collaboration and working with other people and stuff like that. The backbone of America is the working class, the people that are working hard and don't see a cent from any of their work that they put into the company.
And it's rough. Yeah, it's like 3 of us that have jobs. Like I recently lost my job, but it's something where like, okay, what can I do to make money? All right, I'll do video editing. I can do freelance voice work. I can do whatever, and you can do gig work. Like I've done gig work before to make a couple bucks. Like we have a car, I can drive Uber for people. It's not my favorite thing to do, but I can fucking do it to make money. But even then, like you don't make the whole lot because you're a fucking nobody. You're not the guy on top. I think
Yep.
the biggest thing that's interesting to me when it comes with it is like the principle to which Republicans and people who are like, I don't want to say all right wing people, but like most,
Even
it's
Democrats
more
are
even
subject to this
Democrats
of
do it too.
like work
Absolutely,
hard and
100%.
like you'll get something out of
Yeah.
it.
They're taking a bodybuilding principle for
Mhm.
someone, for you, me, Danny, whoever. You can work on yourself and lift weights and become a stronger whatever person. And most people that are bodybuilding nowadays, they use certain types of hormones and stuff that help with like they do like tryptophan, they do like TNG, whatever. They do stuff that helps them get bigger faster because it makes their metabolism run faster. That kind of stuff. They take like 3 fucking pinches in the ass a week, and it helps them do the thing. And like it's not a bad thing. Like I've done it before in the past. Like there are certain hormones and certain testosterone you can take that makes it easier for you to lose the weight, do whatever, right? Um,
Mhm.
and there's something to be said about people that are just pure natty that just work out like crazy. But most of the guys you see that are like popping muscle, they're on fucking gear, man. Like it's just something where like, is it a shortcut? Yes, but they're also in the gym 24 hours a day, constantly fucking working out. Like, okay, I can do this, I can pump this.
When we're saying like they take it too harsh, where it's just like when we're saying that you had help into becoming
Yeah.
who you are right now. Not saying
Exactly,
that you
yeah.
didn't put any hard work in. It's just
100%.
that there are
100%.
people doing equally hard work as you are, but they're not seeing any
But they're
results
getting
because
those results.
Yeah.
because they're not being
And that's-
juiced. They're
And
just
that's
like
that's the bodybuilding principle.
yeah.
They're
Yeah.
still working really hard, but they have that extra little bit to help them to the whatever they need to do.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like modern Hollywood. They go, "Oh yeah, I just work out," but it's gear. You're taking fucking steroids. The Rock isn't that big because
And also,
fucking
they are given money for this project. They are literally given time and money to work out. Like people don't like. I don't have the time to do that. I literally one of the main factors is why I don't work out as much is because the time. Like I have to work a full job, and plus I like to have free time to do some other stuff. So just like it's
like, the most I do, because I'm unemployed now, like what I do is like, okay, I got an hour, I'm gonna go lift weights. You don't need to have a lot of time for working out, even if it's just to keep like maintenance. Like I'll go lift weights in the back room, or I'll go for a walk, or I'll do like fucking lunges or something. Like it's not, and that's the thing. People are
Good
like,
feeling,
oh
yeah.
well, the people are like, oh
Yeah.
well, you're not really working out. Where are your results? I'm like, I can breathe normally when I go upstairs,
Yeah.
and they go, well, blah blah blah. You don't look like this guy. I'm like, I don't want to look like that guy. If I wanted to look like that guy, I would be joining a gym. I'd be finding a guy to help me, like motivate me. I'd be doing dietary plans, all of which cost money, which I don't
and
have
like
right
time.
now.
It's just like
Yeah.
I can work out like at 12 a.m. Is there going to be a personal trainer available for me at 12 a.m.? Like,
You know what I
it's
mean?
just
And like, what kind of money do I have to put towards my meal plan? Like,
yeah.
that's part of it too. Diet is just as important as like everything else.
But yeah,
And it's like,
Some would
yeah,
argue more
do you know
important.
what a bootstrap is? That thing on the end of your boot. Pull yourself up by those. You can't. It's an impossible thing to do.
that's
You
flying,
cannot pull
sir.
yourself
At that
up.
point, you would be flying because you're lifting yourself up while you're holding yourself in place. Like
Yeah.
the core strength you would have to do that is just like amazing.
I'm gonna
But,
try
like,
that after the podcast.
Yeah, right. Oh, it's
Just-
crazy. Danny, if you can do that, fucking film it and show us. Put it on
Yeah.
YouTube. But like, but, like,
I'll label it like just pull yourself up by the bootstraps, man.
well, the main thing with a lot of Metal Gear Rising is, again, the writing touches on idealism and what an idea is and how an idea cannot be destroyed, because an idea is permanent. Like when you have an idea and it's out there, like memes, the whole point of it, when like Monsoon or whoever the fuck Steve Bloom is voicing, like, the memes, Jack, and he talks about how mimetically we can argue, Carl Sagan and Richard Dawkins argued this, like we can argue that like these memes will transcend time. Like I firmly believe like the surprise Pikachu meme will be like a fucking hieroglyph in the future, where people will go, what does that mean? And it's like
it
means
conveys
fucking
information and like it conveys information and it's like a hieroglyph. It's just like we assume that like hieroglyphs were memes at a point. Like this image, this
It must have been.
is like translated into like a paragraph or a phrase or something, and that's what memes do nowadays. Where the shocked Pikachu face is like a sarcastic.
You did something dumb and got caught on it. Like,
It's like oh my god, I can't believe you've done this.
That dude, he got punched in the face. Why would you do that to me?
I wonder if
What's another
eventually, instead of just writing someone's like name on their
memes?
tombstone, they just put a meme up there.
A meme. What exemplifies your whole life? It's gonna be one of Yanni's YouTube thumbnail pictures. It's gonna be the one with the red hair backwards, just
Yeah.
like the red cap. Oh fuck. But Metal Gear Solid, I will say, from the series, like it's a really good series. If you have like 117 hours to play it, play it.
Mhm.
Like, play the series. And that's like maybe 3 games of the
Don't play it
series.
for the story.
Don't
Yeah.
play it for the story.
Yeah.
The story for 2 is great. The story for
Yeah.
4 is okay. 5 is bleh. I would argue Rising has better story than 3, 4, and 5 put together because it argues idealism, which is fun.
Yeah.
But it's a game
And it does
series
it
that I
in a
love.
lot shorter time frame than what
Yeah.
they.
Oh yeah. 100%. It's probably one of the better. My cat keeps fucking biting my legs. I think he's hungry. But like
And
it's one of those things where like it's a good game series, and like I will talk. You can talk about Metal Gear for like forever. It's
We
something where like we just did. We talked about it
Yeah.
for like what, an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
fucking, you know.
Yeah, but
yeah,
I can see us getting hate on this video because like people suck the dick of Metal Gear, and it is what it is. Like
it's
there are better.
it's just
I just feel
it's
like the story just isn't really it, but like the gameplay, like the best game ever. Like, what do you
Yeah.
act like? It actually
me-
like implemented like it improved upon stealth where other games like Assassin's Creed got shit from old school Metal Gear Solid. So
they did. Metal Gear Solid is so prolific that Ubisoft, when they did Splinter Cell, there was a
Mhm.
point in which Sam Fisher talks about, they go, "Oh wow, you're still in the game. Who else is there?" And he goes, "There was this guy with a headband that I knew. I'm not sure if he's still in it though. He was
Mhm.
great." And they fucking put that in the game. They recognized how much that Metal Gear infected all stealth games. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Some
Yeah.
dude cut together a thing where like after like Metal Gear Solid was kind of like done as a series and just dead, and then like what was that other one? Metal Gear Survive, which is horrible.
yeah.
Don't ever play it. That killed the series, man. They just put Metal Gear in a name about zombies, and it was just fucking shit. Horrible.
When they could have just
And
used that engine to just remake Metal Gear 1.
they could have just made Metal Gear 1 and it would have been perfect. Or they could have just made like, I don't know. Metal Gear Online was super fun too, where you get to play espionage against each other and you could like fucking crawl through and like throw shit. It was super fun.
Let's just say
But,
there's
like,
a reason why like Sony paid millions of dollars for Kojima to have his own game. Like
Yeah.
Kojima's he's a genius in his own right, but at the same time, like again, that can be crippling in some points.
Yeah, and it's just not great. But like I think the best thing was someone put together a video where like Sam realizes he's the last one, because it was like it was a thing where like they took a thing where Metal Gear was done, and they had like Sam being old in one of the newer games with Michael Ironside doing a voice clip where he's just like, "I'm the last one," and he just kind of has this flash, and it cuts together all of the top Metal Gear moments, and it plays the really sad Metal Gear 3 ending theme song when the
Yeah.
Joy dies,
Mhm.
and Sam just kind of has this shell shock of like, "Oh fuck!" I'm like, "Wow, that was more powerful than half the Splinter Cell games ever." Like, holy shit! But yeah, no, that was it was a very good game series. I would recommend playing it or watching it. There's tons of videos. Mutahar does a really good 5-hour long video on Metal Gear Solid 4 and why it's pretty good. Like, aside from the story, like how it functions as a game and what changed it.
Mhm.
I would say stealth games today are influenced by Metal Gear and they're influenced by Thief. Those are the 2 kinds of stealth games that influenced it.
Mhm.
And Kojima, like the gameplay was just something else for its time.
Oh yeah. The gameplay stands up. I mean, even to today. I mean, like going back to Psycho with the boss fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Having
Oh
the
yeah.
like most bosses nowadays, it's a 3-phase thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My health bar has 3 chunks.
It's the rule of 3 for
Yeah.
bosses nowadays. That I
Mhm.
mean, like it stands out. Story wise, it's like they got the people for the Resident Evil series
Yeah.
Mhm.
They don't
to
there's no
write
good
it.
writing.
Yeah,
It's the same
but
thing that happened with Saints Row, and that's the video I'm working on right now, and hopefully Yanni and I can get some footage of that for
Yeah.
multiplayer today. It's not
But
good.
yeah. So So yeah, with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this podcast. Be sure, as I say, be sure to go ahead and rate it 5 stars on your preferred podcast platform. If you watch this on YouTube, be sure to go ahead and give it a like. Also, you can submit topics that we talk about just by leaving a comment in the YouTube video. I'll take a look at those and I'll bring it to the group. And if they want to talk about it, we'll talk about it.
Here's a comment they can put. Don't even put words. Just put a salute emoji, a doctor emoji, and a crocodile emoji. And we'll
There you
know
go,
what
Doc
you
Croc.
mean.
We know
Yep.
exactly what
Salute
you mean.
Doc Croc.
That's right.
Go to the
Send us-
hieroglyphs.
Send us a meme and we'll figure it out and we'll try to see exactly what you're talking about and we'll guess.
Yeah,
There we go.
We will guess it. But yeah. Again, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Be sure to subscribe to each of our channels. Follow Danny over on Twitch. And and yeah, with that being said, see y'all on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.